need a hangout sesh. Share your screen with your audience. Click the button. What? Oh, okay, now. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but all right. Share the screen with your audience. I don't know what that means. I don't know what screen share means, but like, you guys should be able to see what I'm doing, right? Like, what does that mean? It didn't let me finish reading the thing before it took it off there, so I don't know. All right, we'll have to see. We'll see. We shall see. Yes, I have the biggest cold sore in all of existence right now, but I am using, I have it backwards. I am using Camfo. So definitely good thing. So yeah. Hey, look at that. It actually is correct this time. My screen is correct. I fixed it in settings because it kept flipping the camera. So you guys were seeing everything like in reverse. So now it actually is when I put this on the screen, I can read it. Anywho, let's see if anybody's able to show up. Say hi in the comments if you're here hanging out. I am hanging out for right now. I'm over here on my phone on Facebook Marketplace. I am trying to find a frame, a bed frame. So seeing if anybody has anything on Facebook Marketplace that can be, that I like, I guess you could say. So we're taking a look. Come on, people. So I've been searching all over because we're trying to find a nice like queen bed frame. I'm vomiting first before I'm leaving. That's disgusting. Who does that? But anyway, yes, I do have a massive cold sore, but this thing was worth getting. Let me tell you what, because we had so much fun, even though we all ended up getting sick, baby included. But we had so much fun. It was like the best time ever. Watching Carlisle be so ecstatic and whatnot. All of us got sick because of the wind, if that makes any sense. If you're someone who has like dust allergies and stuff, you know what I'm talking about. We went out to the 2 times monster truck rally. We had the best time of our lives. I'm still very congested. As a matter of fact, I do have my little nose thing here. And it's like a, what do you call that? That's in this. It's got a really long name. And I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really read what it says. Levetiracetam. I don't know. It's a nasal decongestant. It smells like Vicks vapor rub. Let's put it that way. It's like when you inhale it into your nostril, oh my gosh, it's like Vicks. But it like helps open up your sinuses. But anywho, I ended up flushing my sinuses. Sarah does not like the feeling of the thing, so she doesn't want to do it. But I flushed mine last night and today because we were outside at the rally. Hi, Yosef. Oh, I'm so sorry. Wow, 91 years. Congratulations to him. Absolutely. What a life. 91 years. That is a lot. That's a long life. That's amazing. Congratulations to him for such a long, beautiful, beautiful life. Sarah's not here tonight. She is actually downstairs. She is sound asleep. The baby is sound asleep. I am hanging out with you guys. No, you're totally fine. I haven't even been like, I think I've done, this is my 3rd stream of the year. So yeah, I've been MIA myself. So I am right now on Facebook Marketplace because I am trying to find a bed frame. I need a queen bed frame. I'm having the absolute hardest time finding a bed frame. You guys, I don't know if I told you guys. I don't even think I told you guys about the fact that we went to go get furniture from the furniture store where we've gotten all of our furniture from. And we had, oh, excuse me, we had the absolute worst experience. Yes, by the way, anybody new coming in, I do have a blazing cold sore on my face. As a matter of fact, it's almost healed up. It's just really red. Like it's really red, but I have been from putting my Campho-Phenique on it. But anyway, I'll get into that. The baby is asleep. He came to me and to Sarah, and he was just like, night. And so I said, you ready to go night? And this was at 6 o'clock. And usually he doesn't go to bed until, we don't usually put him to bed until 7:30. And he said, I night. And I know he hasn't been feeling good. Like we're all congested. So gave him his little bit of decongestant medication for his age and got him dressed and whatnot. He ate from his cup, like he has his like sippy cup thing. We gave him his smoothie in it. He drank that. And I took him in his room and laid him down, and he is already sound asleep. Like he crashed out a half an hour ago. So yeah, and then Sarah laid down because we're all just very congested. But we went to the 2X Monster Truck Jam, and it was so much fun. Like, let me tell you guys, like it was windy as hell. Okay. Like where we live, you guys know we live out in the desert. The wind was blowing at least a good 30 plus miles per hour. I mean, it was pelting the crap out of everybody as we waited in line for the gates to open. Took this week off work. Thank God I work for a company that offers, PTO. That's so true. So we went up there. I'm so smart, you guys, because when we bought Carlisle his brand new stroller, we bought this really nice jogger style, with the big and like actual tires on it, the big, huge one. So you can take it pretty much anywhere. It's got like off-road absorption shocks and all that. Because where we live is in the desert. There's no sidewalks here. So when you want to go for a walk out here, you literally, because you can't walk on the road, the cars will run you over here if they don't pay attention. So you have to walk in the dirt and like in the rocks and everything. And his regular stroller with the tires that are like this big just dig down into the dirt. You can't get them to roll. So we ended up getting this brand new jogger. Absolutely love it. Best purchase ever. It has the big visor on it, but it also has the extra snap out piece so that it comes down in front of him like a visor. And I bought this it's like a plastic like rain cover, rain, wind, sand, whatever cover. And on the sides of it, you can unsnap the one sides and it has meshing, right? So really like nice, thick meshing on the sides so that you can open it and allow airflow, but protect them from like, say, all the nasty dust and dirt and particles and stuff from getting in. So I bought that for that stroller, not realizing that because we were going to go to this event and we of course wanted him to have that as a kind of an extra barrier for people like wanting to touch him and everything, because people always want to touch him because one, he's super cute. Two, he says hello to everybody. So like when we go places, he's like, hi, hello, hi. He talks to everybody when we're out. For some reason, people take that as in, oh, you can come touch me and pick me up kind of thing. So I bought that cover specifically so that way it would be like a second deterrent from people wanting to pick him up or touch him. Came in real handy because we put that on, we got him all situated, we walk up to the gates, we're all waiting, and everybody that was there that had, first of all, if you have an infant, and I'm talking about infant, under a year old, if you're going to bring them to an event like this, it doesn't matter, the wind not being counted in that, please bring hearing protection. Because it is very loud. When I say very loud at these events, you're talking about monster trucks, okay? These are big, huge, massive vehicles with very large engines. They're going to be racing each other in several events. They're going to be gunning those engines multiple times. It is very loud, and you're very close to the arena as it's happening. Please bring hearing protection. Carlisle had his protection on. At one point, the truck started to race. He got aggravated at his headphones and he pulled it off, realized how loud it was, panicked, and like we got him back on him and he didn't touch him the rest of the time. It just took him that one time to realize how loud it was that he didn't like not having them on. So please, like, I was shocked at how many people brought their newborn babies, like newborn. I'm good, Heidi. How are you? We were shocked because there was a lady that came in there and her baby looked like it was less than a month old, like brand spanking new. No hearing protection, in an infant car seat, and just blankets bundled on top of the baby. One, it wasn't cold out. It was just super freaking windy. And so we had Carl out in the stroller with the plastic guard over it. And so he, thank goodness, didn't inhale as much of the dirt as Sarah and I did. By the time we left there for the day, after all the events and everything were over, we were caked in dirt, like caked in it. I'm actually going to sneeze again because I have so much dirt in my nose still. I've been flushing my nose and everything, but for now, the last 3 days, we have been flushing our sinuses. We've been like that same day we got home, and by that evening, neither of us could breathe anymore. So it was definitely from the event. So totally worth getting all jacked up congestion wise. And I mean, it's probably not an actual cold. It's probably just our body fighting off the fact that we took in so much junk, and my nose is tickling so bad. By the way, I have my like plate with shrimp and sauce and then the little spot to put the little tails, but the shrimp isn't fully thawed out yet. So I'm just like waiting for it to finish thawing out. I'm going to sneeze. I can feel it coming. This side's super congested, so I have to like plug this so I can like force air to go through that nostril. Anyhow, that feels so good. It literally is. I'm gonna guess it's the same stuff as Vicks Vapor Rub, but like really nice and strong. It's made to help like take all that congestion down. But I have flushed my nose twice in the last 2 days, so I don't think it's like I did a saline flush. I don't think I'm going to get anything else out of my nose, like honestly. Also, Canada Dry Ginger Ale, because I am now staying away from any colored sodas. So Sprite isn't my favorite, so I've been doing ginger ale. You have an upper respiratory infection. Jesus, I know I had one of those a few years ago. The worst. By the way, if you guys have not looked on the community tab, I posted a really, really cute photo. Finally, you guys, finally. The lady that I used to go to a while back, and I don't remember if I ever talked to you guys about this, but there's a place I used to take Tonks for all his grooming, which is called Doggy Styles. So I used to take Tonks over there because I used to also pick up my aunt's dogs and take them as well to Doggy Styles to get all their like baths and grooming and stuff like that done. Well, when 2020 happened, they ended up, of course, because they're not considered an essential, though that makes no sense because there are dogs that absolutely have to be groomed. They weren't considered an essential business, so they had to be closed. They had to close their doors during 2020. Well, she finally opened back up again. You lost 50 pounds? Jeez, I don't know if that's a congratulations or a oh no because you're sick. But if it's a over the past year, congratulations. If you were working for it. If it was one of those things where it just happened because you got sick, I'm sorry to hear that. But I hope that it's a positive for you. That's how I look at it. Like when I went through when I first got really, really sick before I was diagnosed, and I could not figure out what was going on with me, and I started to rapidly lose weight. One, it was not a healthy way to lose weight. It was so bad. And I was terrified that it was going to like backfire on me, which I've put some weight back on, but it comes and goes because I do have flare-ups. When I have a flare-up, it just all withers away again, each and every single time. But anywho, as I was saying. So anyway, Doggy Styles, they finally opened their doors again. And she wasn't taking any new clients for a little while because she'd gotten like super booked. So I'd been calling out for a while now to see if they had openings so she could take Toby when he was still really little. But they weren't. So I was like, man. And so like I told you guys, I had taken him to a different place. And the lady was like, well, I'm not going to probably get too much done on him, but I'm going to take some time with him because it's his first cut. And then when I went and picked up my dog, she'd given him a bath and she had gotten some of the hair by his eyes. That was it. Nothing was trimmed. She didn't trim his beard, didn't cut any of the hair off of his feet. As a matter of fact, his feet still looked like Sasquatch feet, like just wrecked. I was super, super thoroughly disappointed. Let's just put it that way. Especially paying $90 for a service, having my dog for 2 hours, and then me picking up my dog and there being no difference other than something I could have done right here at home, which is give him a bath. And so I was like, what am I going to do? I can't take him back to that place because that's clearly not going to happen. Also, the situation and the way that the setup was really bad for any dog that was going to be getting groomed. You shouldn't have your daycare, small breed daycare dogs in the same like space as where you're grooming dogs, because all that yappy barking, which everybody that knows small breed dogs, they're loud and yappy and they bark. And every time a door dings, they all went ballistic. So you would walk in the front door. There's a desk. There's like a big open space, and that's where all the dogs are. And then just to the left-hand side of the counter is the grooming tables. So you have the grooming tables and then all the small breed dogs running around in the open space right where the desk is. Anyway, that's beside the point. So finally, I called over to Doggy Styles again because he just finally healed from his neuter, and I've also got an update on his bladder issue. I'll talk to you guys about that in a few minutes. But I called over there and I was like, look, he really desperately needs a bath and a serious haircut. He is 7 months old. He's never had his hair cut, and it is out of control. It is out of control. It's getting knotted. His beard is so long now that every time he drinks water or anything, he comes back soaking wet. And so she was like, well, as a matter of fact, I am taking clients again. And I gave her my information. She's like, wait a minute, weren't you a previous client? And I was like, yes, I was. And she goes, oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so happy to have you back. And I was like, that's awesome. I said, but and I let her know that Tonks had passed and stuff. And she was like, I'm sorry to hear that. But I told her, I said, well, I have a new pup and he's 7 months old, but he desperately needs a full workup. She goes, you know what? I've got an opening today. Bring him into me today. And so that was yesterday. So I took him into her yesterday at 2:00. She had my dog for 3.5 hours. Okay. She had Toby for 3.5 hours. Let me just show you guys. Okay. So she had Toby for 3.5 hours, and I will show you how he started off. So this is what Toby looked like when I took him in, right? So my big hairy dude, right? So let's see here. Let's get him on the screen so you can see this ragamuffin of a pup. Okay. My little raggedy ragamuffin. Here's a really good one so you guys can see like this boy. Okay. This raggedy boy. This is what I picked up when I got back, when I went and picked up my baby. Oh my God, I can't. He's so stinking cute. Looky that puppy. Oh my God, his ears. She left a lot of the hair on his ears because it's cute and she knows what she's doing. So she got all the hair off his feet. You guys, his paws are like well trimmed up. You can see his whole foot. His fur is like just completely trimmed. He looks so stinking handsome. He looks like such a little bean. He looks like such a puppy. Oh my God. He's so cute. And he went from being this overly hairy, matted, messy dog to, oh, I wish this camera would focus. But like perfection. Okay, just, I know he does. He looks like a little Labrador. That's exactly what Sarah said. She was like, oh my God, he looks like a Labrador. And I was like, right, he definitely looks like a Labrador. If you get the close-up picture, he is like, she left his tail completely fluffy, brushed it really good, got all the knots out, brushed his ears really, really good, and then trimmed up all the matted hair off his ears. So he's just, I can't. So I put a side-by-side so you could see just how different of a dog he looks. He doesn't even look like the same dog, you guys. Like, honestly, he doesn't even look like the same pooch. Look at that dog. He looks completely different. But I am so flipping happy about it. I got the cutest picture of him and Carlisle today. And then also, this is my dorky. This is my dorky dog. Him's running around the house with his toys, coming up to me at the table. I could not quit laughing because, like, honestly, like, what are we doing? He's walking around the house like that. This is a 7-month-old puppy, by the way. So he's huge. Yeah, he had me busting up laughing because he's like, I'm just being busy, Mom. I mean, no big deal. He is such a goob. Oh my God, I love him. We've been doing a lot of like play and fetch. By the way, he's really good at going and getting the object and bringing it back. If he drops it before he gets back to me, I go, where'd the toy go? He'll go back and get it and bring it to me. So he's really doing good on that. So update on his appointment he had yesterday before he went to get his haircut. He did go for an appointment to have his bladder test done. Because I told you guys about how during his neuter, we had them check on that and they got really poor results and said that his results came back that he had complete bladder incontinence. And so we wanted to wait though until he was no longer under anesthesia. Once he was all healed up, do another test on him while he was finally like awake and active and whatnot. And the vet went in and did the test and was not happy with the results. Just that there's mild reaction, but so very mild. So he is bladdering. He has what he calls, as of right now, it is consistent with complete bladder incontinence. And I'm really sad about that. However, because the muscle is responsive and it does react to stimulation poorly, but it does have reaction. He wants to watch him over the next 6 months and retest again in 2 months from now. And then again, and whatever those results show, we'll look to what we're going to do after that. But as of right now, we're going to give him 2 more months and then he's going to test him again and see if we get any better response from the bladder. What? And so we should, most Labradors and Golden Retrievers are most goofy dogs. Yeah, the funny part is he's not a Labrador. He is a Poodle and Husky mix we're pretty sure, and the vet is almost certain that he has some form of wolfhound in him with the size that he is. So pictures are so deceiving, you guys. I wish you guys could see like comparison wise. He is, rats, I'm late. Stop. So anyway, he's huge. Okay. He's 7 months old. He is 70 pounds. Okay. 70 pounds. And just since his neuter till yesterday, which when he went in for his appointment, he had gained another 6.5 pounds. And the vet was like, dude, you got to stop growing because you're huge. So he's going to be expected to be well over 100 pounds when he's full grown. Because like I said, he is just a baby. So he's huge. And yeah, he's a thick boy. He's a sturdy boy. And he definitely has husky, without a doubt. He talks a lot. He howls like he's dying if you're not within his eyesight. Or I should say, if I'm not within his eyesight. He cares less about anybody else. But if I leave the room or go around a corner, he starts crying. He's just, yeah, he becomes a hot mess. Ouch. So yeah. But yeah, he is definitely a super goof, which I'm going to blame that on the husky portion, because huskies are absolute doofuses of dogs. Like they're absolute airheads, and they are very vocal, and he is a very vocal goofball. See, I can breathe out of that side fine. I could just leave this in my nose all day. I'm not even kidding. I could just set that right there and just breathe, and I would be happy. Look really stupid, but I would be happy. Let's see where we're at. Is this nice and thawed out yet? Oh, wow. Time has flown. Oh, my gosh. That's crazy. Sorry, I'm not trying to offend anybody because I'm eating shrimp, but like, to each their own. I earned that. It is so delicious. I needed that. But anyway, I got everything ready. I just need a frame because Jay is coming down, and he's actually coming down to stay. So I'm really, really happy with that because we haven't gotten to do that in a long time. And he's super excited to get to spend some quality time with the little lovey. So he was cracking up today because I had Carlisle this morning. I do a lot of like educational stuff with Carlisle the first 2 hours of the morning, and then the 2 hours after he wakes up from nap. Because he is super, super like receptive to information in those two, like in that 4 hour windows. So the 2 hours in the morning and the 2 hours after nap time, he's super open and like a sponge. And so while he was doing his educational activities this morning, I was on the phone with Jay, and he got to watch Carlisle's interaction and his cognitive learning. If you're not sure what that is, that's where when they see something, like let's say you do a song, right? So like Itsy Bitsy Spider and whatnot, he can now do all the hand motions and performance portions of a song. So if you sing the song, he'll do all the stuff with it. So he'll do Itsy Bitsy Spider, up the water spout, down came the rain. He'll go wash Spider out. Out came the sun, dried up all the rain, and then he goes Itsy Bitsy Spider. He does the whole thing. He does the Icky Sticky Sticky Bubblegum song, which is his favorite song. He'll even do that one without Miss Rachel singing. Yes, we do watch Miss Rachel in the mornings. But it's not just me sitting him with Miss Rachel. It's me and him, Miss Rachel, and I am sitting like in front of him. So as Miss Rachel's giving instruction, I'm also interacting with him with the instructions, and we're talking. So when she's giving him words to say, I'm encouraging him to tell me those words that she's talking about, helping him finish the sentences. You guys, hold on. I got a piece of the thing stuck in my tooth. That hurt. So he's like very, very like receptive, his cognitive learning and him taking in the information as it's being presented and then remembering that information and playing it back and performing with the songs, with the stuff. Like now he can count to 5 without any assistance. He can count to 5. He knows his colors. He knows like ears, nose, eyes, mouth. He knows arms, elbows. You've used to ask him, where's your elbows? He goes, he knows knees, toes, feet. He knows belly button, his tummy. He does know what boobies are because, of course, he nursed with Sarah, so he learned that one a while ago. Chin, hair. What else is he? What else is the other one? Oh, yeah, and his teeth. He'll show you his teeth and his tongue. He also will, he's got well over 70 plus vocabulary, like words in his vocabulary, as well as 30 plus signs. So he can sign like 30 different things. He finally really got stop the other day. So while we were at the truck rally, the guy that was sitting next to his stroller on the other side was yelling something. And Carlisle looked over him. He goes, stop at the guy, because the guy was being super, super loud. And so it made the man, because the man had 2 young kids with him, made him just start busting up laughing. He thought it was the funniest thing that Carlisle yelled at him to stop. But also, not only did he yell stop, he put his hand out like this at the guy. He goes, stop. It was so funny. I've never in my life, it was hilarious. So he's got, like I said, over 30 plus signs in ASL. And he uses the signs whenever he uses the word. So he's if he's hungry, he'll tell you, he goes hungry. He'll tell you hungry, and he'll say, I eat. He'll say a juice, a drink. He knows how to do drink. He says eat. He says mama, dada, grandma, and he hasn't quite got grandpa yet. We still haven't gotten to do grandpa, but hopefully while Jay's here, he'll get it. We haven't gotten him with uncle yet, because I haven't even learned. I need to learn the sign for uncle again. I don't remember it. He's got milk, friends, toys. He says yes, and he says no. He'll go no at us. It's the funniest thing. He says all done. He'll tell us want, and he'll say what when he has a question. Oh gosh, he has so many. You guys, he has so many. My brain is trying to remember all the ones he's got. Let's put it this way. He's very capable of communication. Such a little, he's so absorbent. And so hopefully if he stays on this trend where he really is, those 2 hours in the morning seem to be his absolute top favorite thing, is to just be absorbed in learning things, taking in new things. My favorite thing he does right now, every single morning when I first open the door, he says water. Yeah, he knows water. Every single morning I walk in, as soon as I open the door, he goes, good morning. It's so cute. It is the best thing in the world. So I pick him up in the morning. We open up his curtain in his room so he can see out into the mountains. And he always says, oh pretty, oh, like that. And then I go, okay, time for potty. And then we go in the bathroom. And he also knows, he knows how to sign potty. And I forgot what it is right now, but he does say potty. And he goes on the potty every morning. Now, he doesn't understand that's something he should be doing all day long, but he does use the potty first thing in the morning. So that's a big one. But yeah, so now as of recently, he started finally letting us know at nap time and at bedtime when he is ready to go to bed. So he tonight was ready at 6:00. He was done. He brought me his jammy and I was like, you're ready? You ready to go night-night? He said, I night-night. And I said, okay, you go night-night. Let's get you ready. And so I put his clean pamper on, got him all lotioned, and we sat down for a little bit. He drank his cup with his smoothie, and then we curled up. I read him a book while we sat in the room for a few minutes, laid him down, and he always says, night-night. He doesn't want us in the room anymore, which is really bittersweet. I'm not going to cry again. I swear I'm not crying again. Holy cow. Because the emotions hit me out of nowhere every time I talk about it. But it's been over a week now, and he does not want us in the room with him when he goes to bed. And it's such a bittersweet thing, because for his first, 20, 21 months, it's the T sign. Yeah. And then you shake. So yeah, because I know that this is toys with both hands. And then I think potty is back and forth. But yeah, he is like, you know, a little over a week ago, he would not go to sleep unless he was holding onto your finger, like through the rail of his crib. And if you tried to get up and leave when he wasn't fully asleep, he'd flip out. And then out of like, it was that one evening. And then the next day at nap time, he kept saying, bye, 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 bye. And I was like, what? And he did not, like, he was getting really antsy with me laying, like sitting on the ground next to the crib. He was going, bye, bye. And so I left the room, and within 5 minutes, sound asleep. He was sound asleep. I was like, okay. And then he did it again that night where he didn't want us in the room and laid him down. And he's been that way for the past week and a half. So yeah, he is completely independent at sleep now. And it's like heartbreaking for me because that was our thing, was I would put him down at night and sit with him until he fell asleep. And it's bittersweet because it allows us, for me to do this, but also allows Sarah and I to, like, you know, if we want to have like a late dinner together, we can do that. If we want to just sit down and have a movie, like a 2-hour movie before going to bed at the end of the day, we can do that now. Nap time, Sarah and I now can get mopping done, toy cleanup done. We can get dishes and stuff done. We can throw laundry in because we now have a 2-hour window in the afternoon where he lays down and he goes to sleep for 2 hours without us having to sit with him for that hour and a half to get him to sleep. Now he just tells us he's tired and he goes and lays down. Now he doesn't go to sleep just anywhere. He was bed. He doesn't like falling asleep in the car. As a matter of fact, he hates the car, which I think it's because he gets motion sick. I really do. I think it upsets his tummy, which is why he hates being in the car. We tested a short drive from here on these back roads. We tested him out forward facing. He is, by the way, legally for Arizona State, he can legally forward face in a car. Is it pediatric recommended? No, but it is 7 inches tall. So he is law is 22. So they need to be 22 pounds and 1 year of age to forward face in the state of Arizona. However, we believe in keeping him rear facing. But we did test out forward facing with him through back roads, and he didn't scream in the car. As a matter of fact, he totally chilled out, played with his toy in his seat, and was completely fine in the car, forward facing, where he could see where we were going. We put him back rear facing, of course, when we were going to go take the 95 to go into town. And you turn him around and he does fine for like the first 5 or 6 minutes in the car. He's fine at first. And then as you're getting down the road, he starts to get whiny and then he starts to fall apart, which usually is a sign that a kid is not feeling well. He gets that cry that tells you like he's uncomfortable. Not a I don't want to be in the car, I hate this kind of cry. It's a I don't like the way I feel. Somebody please stop for a minute. Because if you stop the car, he stops crying. So he can stay rear facing, but if the car starts moving again, he starts crying again. So I have a feeling he gets motion sick when he's rear facing in the car. And his birthday's not until April, age 2, which is the recommended time to keep them rear facing. So would I like to extend rear facing with him while we're in the car? And I know Sarah would probably prefer it as well. Are we going to? No. We're probably going to turn him forward facing after his 2nd birthday, strictly for the sake of his own well-being and so that we can actually go places without him having a full-blown meltdown and then being so distraught by the time we get where we're going. Because where we live and where everything is like a 30-minute drive. So like if we want to go to Walmart, right, to go get groceries and stuff, because there's nothing right here where we're at. Like there's nothing here. You have to go to town. So it's a 30-minute drive out to go to town. And that's where Walmart, Safeway, Smith's, which is, I think Safeway and Smith's are pretty close to like what an Albertsons used to be. Because we don't have Albertsons out here. We used to have Albertsons out here. We don't anymore. But if we want to go grocery shopping, you got 30 minutes drive. Target's out there too. So it's 30 minutes to get to any of that. That's where all the shopping stuff is. And by the time we get there, because he is rear facing going down Highway 95, because people are idiots out here, by the time we get there, he is so overwhelmed and distraught and not feeling good. He's an absolute wreck the whole time we're trying to get stuff. We have to try to calm him back down. I put him in the carrier for the first half of us trying to get groceries. He's usually in full meltdown. He is not happy. He didn't want to be in the car. He finally will settle down after about the first 20 minutes or so of us trying to get stuff done. And then we can shop and he's happy and he'll watch everything and he'll sit in the cart and whatnot. Then we try to put him in the car to go home. And let's just say that's always a fun adventure to put him back in the car. Once he's like finally content with like, okay, we're out, we're doing stuff, putting him back in the car, he knows that that means we're buckling in and we're heading home. He doesn't, he's not. Nope. It's a screaming, crying, upset baby from the moment we buckle him into the car seat. And then he cries the whole 30 minutes home. And it's sad because like, I'm pretty sure I know where the problem lies. And that is because he is not feeling good when he's rear facing. And so it sucks because of course, in today's world, I mean, like you go to the doctor's office and even though Arizona law says he can legally face forward, the doctor's like, you still have him rear facing, right? You still have him rear facing. And it's like, yes, he's rear facing. But like at some point where like, I understand that for recommended pediatric recommendation for highest safety standard is for him to be rear facing without a doubt. But where do you draw the line on, okay, his safety versus his well-being of melting down? Like there's got to be some sort of damage that gets done emotionally when you're not listening to him tell you, I don't feel good. This is making me sick facing this way. Like, have you ever, I don't know if anybody else does this, but I cannot. Not if I'm on an airplane, not if I'm on a train, or if I'm a passenger in a car. I cannot look at a book. I cannot read any kind of nothing. You're not going to get me to read anything like sitting in the airplane. You're not going to get me to read road signs while we're traveling when I am the passenger. Because I will get very sick. I will get serious motion sickness. I can't even go on a boat because I get severely motion sick. So I just wonder if you've ever been motion sick, you know how absolutely garbage that makes you feel for quite a significant time, even after you're no longer in that situation. So even after, like if I get motion sick while we're driving, even after we get to our destination, it takes probably a good 2 to 3 hours before the sensation of the motion sickness goes away, before I finally feel like totally normal human again. So I wonder if that might be one of his biggest things is he gets that feeling and then he just feels like garbage after that, the rest of like the time that we're trying to get stuff done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been a long time. Was it a German Shepherd? No, it wasn't a German Shepherd. It was Lily. She was a Brindle, the Brindle mixed dog. She wasn't our dog. If you guys have been watching for a while, Lily came to stay with us because a friend of ours, where she was living at, didn't allow the dog, and she was waiting for her contract to get into their house. Took a lot longer than they were anticipating to get their contract. Once they finally got their contract for their house, we took Lily up to her. So she was only supposed to be a short-term foster. Like we were fostering for a friend. Yeah, she ended up being with us 8 months. Oh my God, but this like, I can barely. Oh my God. I hate that I have a deviated septum. So this side right here, like the bone is like right here, whereas this one is all the way up here. So if you look, it's way down here. So you're lightheaded, dizzy, and nauseous. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh. That got ice cold. Nice. But so yeah, I get so sad when I think about like whenever we have to get in the car. Because as a mom and a grandma, like you want the absolute top safety, you know. But I also don't want to mentally damage him by putting him in a position where every time we go somewhere, he absolutely loathes the vehicle. That he hates. When we say we have to go somewhere, he gets excited to go bye-bye. But when he sees us going in to get into the car, he starts crying. He gets super upset. He's like, but yeah. The couple of times that we've driven around, like right here in the little neighborhood, we put him forward facing. So like if we go down to the mailbox or if we go down to the dollar store, which are right here on our street, he is totally chill with being in the car. He doesn't mind. But when we put him in and we turn that car seat facing the back, we even got what do you call it? A DVD player, and put that in with Miss Rachel on it. And he's okay for like a couple minutes, and then he's not feeling it. Oh yeah. See, I did that one time where I went on a theme park ride, and I love roller coasters, don't get me wrong. But my wild side decided to do a roller coaster that I really love. I decided to do it twice back to back, right? So I decided right after I got off, I got right back on because there was no line. So we got right back on. And I got so sick because like there's like I can do like the motions and all up to a certain point, and then you hit that point and you go past it and the sickness sets in. So yeah, I've done that to myself, and I can say I won't do that again. Because that is a very unpleasant experience. I don't like being motion sick. I don't like being sick at all. I don't even like the thought that I might throw up. Like the feeling of needing to throw up. Oh my gosh, I can't. It makes me become overly anxious. I get like my heart will start to pound really fast. Like I don't like throwing up. It is horrid. Because every time I've ever gotten to a point where I have to vomit, it becomes like an issue because then I actually throw up. But because I've thrown up, I've now made myself sick from the thought of throwing up. So then I throw up some more. And then it just perpetuates this like catch-22. And it's horrible. It's like a vicious cycle that starts. And yeah, it just, my head, I can't do it. I don't like it. I can't do it. Nope. So yeah. But yeah, so right now he still stays rear facing. We try to minimize like any type of trips we take to when we need to take him somewhere. So like when he has to go to the doctors, of course, when we have to go get groceries. Now, usually I've been the last couple of times I've made it a point not to take him with us or with me. I try to just be like, look, I understand that you want to go too, but like you're going to need to stay home with the baby because I don't want to put him in the car and put him through that. It's not fair to him. If he's uncomfortable in the car driving for those distances and it makes him feel sick, until he can forward face, safety regulation wise, then we need to like minimize how many trips he takes in the car. As crappy as that is, but we have to. So yeah, if like Arizona state law is, if I'm correct, I'll look it up again just to be on this, just to be absolutely sure. AZ, Oops, car seat law. Hello. Okay, so Arizona state law: a child who is younger than the age of 5 must ride in a child car safety seat. Children should ride in a rear-facing car seat until they are 1 year of age and weigh 20 pounds. Now, children younger than 8 years old and shorter than 4'9" must be properly secured in a safety booster seat. So if they're under the age of 8 and they are shorter than 4'9", so pretty much if they're 5, 6, 7, and 8 years of age and 4'9", they need to be. Yeah, I used to have a DV exam. See, I have thought about going and getting mine corrected. The doctor told me that mine's an easy fix, so that's how he said it. But I've had a broken nose before. And the bruising from that is a whole level of bruising. And I do know that fixing that is going to, and I even asked, so yes, it would cause all that same reactive markings. And that's just because I bruise like that, like just really easy. And so I'm like, I don't know if I want to go through weeks of the swollen eyes to start off, and then all the bruising that I would have to wait for it to diminish. And I couldn't imagine Bubby seeing me bruised up like that. I think that would just mess with his head. So let's see here. Okay. Position child rear facing. Yes, for the neck and spine. Yes, forward facing car seats when installed correctly. This car seat offers additional protection to the child by distributing the force of a crash to the child's body, reducing risk of neck or head injuries. Yes. You never get bruises? Oh my God. I get stupid bruises all the time. Like I don't even know if I have any right now. I've got a couple of small marks. Oh, where am I going? Like just, you can see like all my little bits of bruising and like weird patchiness that I get just bumping into something small. I will end up with like big purple bruises and stuff. I've got like several of them on my legs right now where Toby, when he had his cone on, slammed into my hip over here, right? Because he's got the cone on and he's being Toby, and he slammed into my hip on the side. And now I have like bruises on the top of my hip here, and then also down right by my knee where the cone hit on both of those spots. Okay, so let's see here. Yep, so it's still the same thing. If they are under 20 pounds and under a year of age, they need to be rear facing. Arizona state law says ages 1 to 5, 20 pounds to 40 pounds can be forward facing. Once they are over 40 pounds, they can start being in a booster seat. And then once they are well over 40 pounds and above, they have to also be above 4'9", can then ride in a regular seat in the car. I laugh because I always tell my cousin that because she's only 4 foot, she's 4'8", that she should be in a booster seat. But we pick on each other about that because I am 5 foot, so I do reach the above requirement. But yeah, we always pick on each other about that. So yes, technically, by law, by Arizona state law, Carlisle can legally forward face in a car. By pediatric recommendation, he should stay rear facing. Technically, for as long as he is comfortable, so to speak. But oh my God. You notice how my nostril closes when I'm going to take Taylor, and I told him I'd help him get an appointment. When Taylor sucks his nostrils in like this, like when he goes, his one will suck completely shut because his septum is so deviated. It will just immediately lock his nostril shut. And he doesn't have to touch it. It just does it. Mine usually will do it. If I push it, it'll just stay shut. I can't breathe through this side right now, so That side is so clogged up. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's driving me crazy how bad this side is. It's because this side was clogged first, and now that this side is cleared, this side is clogged up. That's the part I can't stand is right now, the last 3 nights of trying to sleep. If I lay on one side, then let's say if I lay on my right side, my left side will completely clear up, right? And my right side will clog up so bad. Then I will turn over to like clear up my right side, and my left side will completely plug up. So whatever side is laying against the bed will become completely congested. It is the most frustrating thing to have to keep rolling back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, trying to clear my sinuses throughout the night, just so that I can get some comfort. Because if I leave it too long on one side, it becomes like this built up pressure. That is super uncomfortable. And yes, I eat super slow, by the way. Most people I know would have mowed right through these already. I can't. I can take like 2 or 3 bites or something, and then I have to wait because my stomach will start to get really angry. Woo. I was gonna sneeze. I sneezed last night. Like 6 sneezes after I did the nose wash. I thought for sure about the 3rd one in that I was going to rupture my shoulder blades. They hurt so bad from sneezing. I'm telling you. Oh yeah, I gotta show you guys. We got this for Bubby the other day. How cute is this little romper? Oh, he's so dang cute. His little romper. That's because it's still, 80 degrees here. We had a couple of days where it was like cold, and then we got him these. He does not like, by the way, he does not like sleeves, and he hates anything that covers his feet. So we bought him short-sleeved little pajamas. I already unzipped it so that way I could get the tags and stuff off. But yeah, he loves these. We got him this one, it's a red and blue one, and then he got a gray one with little thingies on the sleeves and on the ankles. Just so stinking cute. We have to make sure anything we put on him, he can't get out of, because if it's not a romper, like if we put him in a pair of pants and a shirt, he is out of those clothes and out of his diaper in 2.2 seconds. This kid will completely take everything off. I'm like, oh my God, put your clothes back on. I went through this with Sarah as a baby. So you learn that rompers, full piece pajamas are your best friends. And the full piece pajama needs to have the clip over the freaking top to keep him from getting access to the zipper. It closes the zipper in, so he can't get a hold of the zipper because he knows now how to get completely out of a zipper. And snaps, he can just undo snaps in a heartbeat, like on a regular snappy one. He just grabs in between the little openings and he's out of it in a heartbeat. So there's that. He's already grossed Sarah out on one occasion where he did exactly what several babies in my lifetime have done. And he tested out his, what was in his diaper, so to speak. He actually didn't go in his diaper. He took his diaper off and proceeded to go on the floor and had access to it. So Sarah, of course, ended up getting very sick from that one. Needless to say, Grandma cleaned up that mess because been there, done that. And I'm not squeamish about that kind of stuff. And I could not, for the life of me, after I got him cleaned up and removed him from the room as I got everything cleaned up, I could not quit laughing. I tried not to. I made really sure not to laugh in his presence because I don't want him to think it was okay to do so. You don't want them to learn that it's okay to do that type of behavior. So I could not. I laughed so hard because I think I laughed more because it made Sarah sick. I know it sounds mean, but it was so damn funny. She didn't find it funny. I found it very funny because I've been there, done that when they were little. My kids didn't do any of that. Taylor, you couldn't put anything in Taylor's mouth. He wouldn't eat for the life of me. So, as you all know, I've talked about that. He was tube fed because Taylor refused to put anything in his mouth. Sarah was a good eater, but she was picky to a point when it came to like things. Like she knew what food was, and so she didn't do any of that. But I did a lot of childcare and babysitting, and I had one of my ones that I used to watch who was big about putting their hands in their diapers. And why is my nose so clogged again on that side? Ow. I'm just going to leave it there. Just stick it there. There you go. How attractive is that for you guys, right? Ooh la la. But yeah, so I've dealt with all the baby poop and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's just one of those things where you've been there, done that, and then it becomes super funny. And yes, I was the one that cleaned it up, and other people were like, well, I wouldn't have found it funny if I had to clean it. No, it didn't bother me. It was super funny. And I got to relish in the fact that Sarah got to experience one of those moments that you only see on TV sometimes and whatnot. So yeah, it was funny. It was really funny. But and it's so funny because he's so exploratory and he's such a little smart little bean. He's like a freaking sponge. He just absorbs anything and everything. Like he just takes everything in. And so he's always learning his environment, checking things out, discovering stuff. And so, yeah, he really is just the cutest little thing. Yes. So anywho, I was going to tell you guys something else. I forgot what it was I was going to tell you guys about. I said I was going to touch on it, but then I forgot what it was. Yeah, so now I'm just nobody on that thing. I posted it needing that. So if anybody's got one, I really. This is so sad. People, come on. This puppy, she's just a puppy. And she's been found and they took her to the vet to see if she was microchipped. She is not microchipped, but she is very pregnant. And she's just a puppy. Probably just it's probably her first cycle. People weren't paying attention. They probably dumped her because she's clearly not like a wild dog. She's not a feral dog. She is clearly somebody's pet. Too friendly to be feral. So what? I don't think that that's true. People, please stop putting stuff like that out there. Oh my God, yeah. Taylor nailed me a few times when he was little. Yeah. Carlisle peed all over Sarah today at the Walmart. She was already having a rough go. Like she was already really tired. She's not feeling good because we're like I said, the congestion. And she doesn't deal with being ill very well. Okay. I saw that the other day. But anywho, so she wasn't already feeling good, and so she was holding him because he was having a full meltdown because, like I said, he doesn't like riding in the car. By the time we got there, he was already past his like I'm done with you guys phase. And so we got there and she decided to go ahead and just carry him on her hip. We had just changed him too, like just changed his diaper. He had a clean diaper on and everything. And she picked him up and she was holding him on her hip. And he started going and it came right out the side of his diaper. Like the diaper just did not hold. For some reason, it was like a fresh diaper, but positioning of boy parts is important in a diaper, by the way. Positioning apparently was not correct. And he peed and it came right out the side by his thigh and it just went all over the side of her shirt and all on her pants. And she was not happy about it. And then, of course, he does not like getting changed like on those changing tables that they have at the stores. One, they're hard as a rock. So, of course, he doesn't like it. And so she tried to lay him up there so she can get the wet clothes off of him. And he just was, you could hear him from the bathrooms to the service counter because I was at the service counter getting a money order. And he was in the bathroom with her and he was not having it. Like, just not. And by the way, I know people are going to wonder what this is. It is literally a blot of paint that somebody blotted on the wall when they were, whatever they were doing in here, because this does not match any of the rest of the paint in any portion of this house. So where the dark black glop of paint came from, none of us know. And it looks like it might even be underneath this white paint. So it might have been the paint underneath, and then this is the white paint they put on top. And this piece just got nicked or whatnot because it's also like right here. You can't see it up here. And then there's more at the top here. So I'm guessing that that's what that is. So I know people are probably like trying to figure out if something's on their screen. They're probably like, it's not. It's not like on your screen. It's actually on the wall. Dude, where's this one at? Where? Y'all, where are you? I'm not going all the way to Searchlight. I hate when I say within 25 miles of my area and they're like, Searchlight, Nevada. No, that's not in 25 miles from me. 25 miles from where I'm sitting right now is Bullhead City. Y'all. I just want a bed frame. I just need the bed frame. So hopefully I can find one tomorrow. Ed Sheeran with his doggo. Why does Minerva have green hair in that photo? Y'all, she doesn't have green hair. Oh, Disturbed. It's actually a pretty good band. Oh, yeah, that sounds amazing. Yep, sounds great. Oh, I know what that means now. I know what that means now. Okay. I was like, what is it talking about? Because usually you need to have like OBS or whatever. YouTube now has a thing here where I can do screen share with you guys. So if I am live streaming, like let's say I'm live streaming, I can come on here and screen share with you guys. That is so cool. That's so cool. I love that. That means I could have like a pop out of the chat to the side because I can click over here and do a chat pop out. And then I could do like a game with you guys on my computer, or I can show you guys like old photos and stuff. I'd be like, let me just show you and actually screen share my screen during the stream. We'll have to do a practice stream and show and see if we can pull that up with you guys. That would be so cool. Oh my God, I love that. God, good job, YouTube, because that's a whole new thing now. That's really, really cool that I can do that. And then I can open up a different tab and you guys can still see the stream going on. We can sit and chit chat and you guys can see what my screen is showing. Oh my God, that is really, really cool. We're going to have to test that out, you guys. We're going to have to test that out. and see how that goes. I don't know if like if we screen share, if it'll let me see like putting my camera to one spot so that I can see what I'm showing you guys, but also still see the stream. That would be really cool. This is so cool. I'm gonna have to test it out with you guys. Maybe at the end of this stream, we'll do a little click on that to show you guys like and see if what it looks like, because I've never seen it, so I don't know. This is first time that that's ever been an option on here. So I was like, it didn't let me finish reading it. I was like, wait, let me read what that said. And then it disappeared. And I was like, what? What is this new thing? That's actually really cool. I love that idea. So yes, definitely a big, big plus. Good job, YouTube. Finally making it to where we can actually do like really cool streaming with everybody. Oh, another thing Carla's been super interested in is my keyboard. I haven't done that in a while. I played with it a couple nights ago, but I mean like actually sat down and just played some music. I didn't show you guys my set. So Neil's been working with me and teaching me because we've been doing Dungeons and Dragons, of course. So we've been playing D&D, but I've got my D20. So my really big D20, I should say. Love this thing. This thing is absolutely amazing. So this one's my large one, but I do also have, no, where's my other one? I'm missing one. Is it in here? It should have 8. Should there be 8 altogether? I should have, where is it? It should be a 4, right? And this one is a D8, a D4. That's my D6. I'll have to just show you guys because these are really, really pretty. So these are my dice. So like my D20, so these are all my new dice. Oh, there's the other, my D4. So yeah, so all my dice, which are really pretty. So they're like purple and green with gold writing. And then these are all your pieces. So like +1, -1 kind of thing. When you're doing your magic cards. And then these are I'll just like pull only a couple out right here. I'll just show you. So these are like my magic cards. So like for my deck. They're in sleeves, so yeah. Ooh, go back. There we go. And then you have your life counter. So that's important when you do this game. Is your life counter. So that's your yeah. Pretty dang cool. And then of course I have some like extra little like change outs if I need to change them out at some point. But yeah. Now I had this where I got it stayed really, really well in one spot for a little bit, and then everything decided to fall out of here. Okay, so I'm gonna do those there. Those can go, you come back over here. There we go. Those guys can go like that. All right, I had it where that was like really well placed. So it was this one and that one, because this big guy was right there. There we go. Now it's sitting in there the way I wanted it. But anyhow, so I figured I'd hang out with you guys for a little bit and see if I could get anybody to respond now that it's probably not going to happen. It's 8 o'clock now. I don't think I'm going to get any response tonight. So hopefully tomorrow I have better luck and we can find a frame because, oh, that's what I was going to tell you guys. Because I did go to the place where we got all of our furniture from. I think I said something about this the last live stream I did. And we went to the same place I got all my furniture from. And I wanted to get a bedroom set. And I talked about this in the stream previously. And all I wanted them to do was just do me the favor of measuring this supposed full-size bed frame, right? It was supposed to be for a full-size bed, is what it said. Now, I have a queen size mattress, right? I wanted to know what that full-size bed frame measured because from what I could see, the bed mattress that was on there, like you could see the mattress they had on it, and I read the mattress tag, and the tag had said that it was a full-size mattress. Yet there was these gaps about this big on both sides of the bed. Like, so if you looked at the mattress that was sitting in the frame, there was these big gaps on either side of the mattress, and you could see right through the slots into the drawers underneath the bed, right? So like the bed had the frame, and then you had the drawers that went into the frame on either side, and then you had the big wooden slots that the mattress sits on top of. But like you had this gap on both sides of the bed, and at the foot of the bed there was probably another, I don't know, 3-inch gap at the foot of the bed. And so I was like, could you just measure that for me? Because I know what my mattress measurements are. So I just wanted to know what the frame measurement was of that bed. And if the frame measurement matched up to what I already have, then that would have been perfect because I would have just bought that frame from them. And she's like, a queen mattress won't fit on that. Just a queen mattress won't fit on. I was like, I'm not asking you that. What I'm asking you to do is just measure it for me, because it doesn't matter what mattress I'm going to put on it. If I'm buying a product from you, all I'm asking you to do is just measure it for me. And what I do from there with that information is none of your business, right? Like as a consumer, it is none of your business what I do with the product after I buy it from you, especially because I'm buying it off of you. Like you're selling, I'm buying. So if I'm buying it and I'm asking you to do me the honor of measuring it for me so that I can decide whether or not I'm purchasing that item. So she made it to where it was like absolutely impossible for me to decide whether or not I wanted to purchase it. Well, no, she made it very easy for me to decide I'm not purchasing from them. So I was like, for real? So then I wanted to look at one of the other big recliner chairs that they had. Like they had this really nice cushy big recliner chair, which would have been perfect because we're looking at going a bit different than what we have in the living room. Like we have that big sectional couch, but the way that couch is made, we're having so many issues with the two pieces staying on the couch, right? It's just very poorly made so that the cushions don't stay in place. So if you sit down on the one part and somebody sits next to you, the one piece slides out from underneath. So the way it's set up, there's nothing to keep that cushion on the couch itself. So it just constantly is falling off, or Bubby falls right between the two cushions and it just slides out from wherever he's standing. And the two pieces of the couch don't lock together correctly. So they've only got one latch tooth on there when it should have two to kind of lock it into place. It only has one. So the actual L-shaped piece just keeps wiggling loose. So if you bump into it, it just slides loose. And then you've got this gap between the two sections of the sectional. Not cool. It's quite annoying. And so I thought about one of two things: sewing the two cushions together, but then realized you can't because the zipper's on the side you would be sewing. So you couldn't sew the two pieces together to keep them locked together so they wouldn't come apart. And then I was like, well, the one thing I could do is at least add a second tooth plate to the couch itself. So take the one off and move it further down and add a second one, and then make it to where they latch on both sides of the couch. And then taking and putting some Velcro strips right on the bottom section of the two cushions and on the couch itself so that they would lock on there. But how how guaranteed am I that those are going to actually last and that the Velcro won't wear from movement? You know what I mean? So I wanted to look at one of the big chair things they had. We were looking at doing these big, huge, like recliner styles, like love seat style recliners. They're like really big and fluffy and cushy and would have been just super comfortable. And the way he's sleeping right now, I cannot with him. I'm going to cover his face, but I'm going to show you guys. He's sleeping with his little hands behind his head. So he's got his little hands like interlocked behind his head in his bed. He's like this. He's just sound asleep. So, anywho, Sarah and I were talking about getting two of the same ones, right? So we wanted two of those, like they're smaller than a love seat, but like because I'm so small, like Carlisle and I could sit on it together, totally comfortable. Sarah could sit on one and be completely comfortable. Her and Neil could even sit on one together and still be like close together, but like still comfortable. It could sit two people in it comfortably. But they're smaller than like an actual like love seat. And we wanted to get two of those. And so we were talking about whether or not we wanted to get two of that style. And then if they had it available, we would order it. And Sarah and I are talking. We're not even talking to the lady. And she's like, just so you know, we don't do any orders through here. So if you wanted something like that, you probably should just go on our website. Like, just go on the website and look at what we have there, because what you're looking to do, we're not going to have that for you here in the store. I was like, okay. And then she proceeds to yell at the elderly man who happens to walk in. All he asked her was, how much do I owe on the account? Right? And she goes, well, you only made a partial payment. He goes, okay, I understand that. That's not what I'm asking you. He goes, can I find out what is my total balance left? I want to pay it off. I want to pay off my furniture. I want to own it from today on. She goes, well, first of all, you only made a partial payment. You need to make the complete payment. He goes, I'm asking you, what is the complete payment? I need to know, like, what do I owe on the account? And she goes, well, I can't give you like a final amount until you make he goes, what do I owe you to bring my account up to date so I can make the full payment? I can only do one thing at a time, sir. I was like, oh. She was so rude. And then the other girl was like, you're probably best just going and looking on our website. And I was like, and so I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to purchase with you guys. And so I looked at Sarah. I was like, you know what? Let's go take a look over at Rent-A-Center. Right in front of her as we were leaving. I was like, I'm not doing this with you. How rude do you need to be? Like, I have purchased all my furniture from them over the past, past 6 years. I've purchased all of our beds. That, even though I've sold the beds off after we moved into the RV, but I have purchased beds from them. So I've purchased 3 bedroom sets, like beds, like frames and mattresses and everything. I've purchased from them, not just made payments on, but like actually full on purchased. I've purchased 3 couches from them. And the big dining room, my big dining table that I have now, we purchased. So we've done all of our furniture through them over the last 6 years. And the response that I got walking in there to purchase again, because I've had over the last 6 years, because even after 20 and everything happened, when we moved up on the hill by my grandpa's, we purchased our couch from them when we moved up there. So I got my couch and my really big chair that I really loved. And I ended up giving that stuff to Neil. So Neil has that at his apartment in Havasu. So he has the couch and the big seat and the big ottoman and stuff like that. That's all with him. So yeah, I've purchased from them over the last 6 years. And I'm just like, I'm shook at how rude the ladies were that were working the counter. when I went in there. Like, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe they were having a bad day or whatnot. But then I went on their Facebook page for here. And yeah, apparently that's just kind of who works there now. And that's kind of the attitude they have now. And it's super disappointing because I really genuinely enjoyed purchasing from them. I've always had such a good purchasing experience. And like on top of it, like if I had a question or I needed something looked at, or if a piece of the furniture didn't look right when it arrived or whatever, and if I needed to get something cleaned, I could call them and be like, hey, can I schedule a cleaning? Yada, yada, yada. I've never had any issues with them in 6 years' time. As a matter of fact, one of the couches I purchased from them, we had it done twice after we had done 2 separate Fosters. So each time I had Fosters come through the house, I had the couches re-cleaned, just to be on the safe side, so that when we got the next set of Fosters, that we would be A-okay. And I never, ever, ever ran into problems from this company. And so I was super, like, and I'm not going to name the company because the company itself is a great company. The location, the local location for that company is got garbage employees right now. And I just find that so disheartening because I really, and that bed frame, I really wanted that frame. And I was hoping that if they didn't have, like, if that frame didn't fit size wise, if the measurement wasn't exactly what I was looking for, then I would have just, like, I would have purchased that same frame set, but I would have gone on their website and ordered it for the size I have. And the fact that she wouldn't even take a few moments to grab a measuring tape. You're a furniture store. You should have a measuring tape in there so people can ask about whether or not something is a certain size. So that way, like, I know my space and what my pieces of furniture are, right? I measured everything of mine. So I know what my things are. They're in my phone measurement wise for, like, what my mattress measurement is, what my room space measurement is. I just needed her to tell me what the frame measurement was, because it wasn't written anywhere. Usually it is. On several of their other bedroom sets, the frame measurement is written down, right? So you know what it is from the wall to the foot of it to its width and whatnot. They're written down. But this frame in particular, it was just not written down anywhere. And so I just wanted to know what its measurement was, because it was definitely too big for the full-size mattress they had on it. And maybe it was because the full-size mattress they had on it was just a piece of garbage. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it shows, well, that's the only mattress, that's the only full-size mattress we sell here, is that one like that. And I was like, well, that's a really crappy mattress. And so I don't want that mattress. I have a mattress. I just want the frame. I don't want to purchase a mattress, because you have to purchase the mattress separately. So I wasn't going to purchase a mattress from them. I needed to know what that frame size was and what its measurement was. And she refused to measure it. So I was like, well, I guess we're going to go to Rent-A-Center. So we didn't go to Rent-A-Center though, because they really just don't have anything available out here, Rent-A-Center wise. Like, their stuff is just really, like, if we wanted to order from Rent-A-Center, we'd have to order out of Las Vegas, and they charge an arm and a leg to deliver it out of Las Vegas. But if I ordered from the other company, they actually have the bigger, like, their bigger warehouse place in Lake Havasu, and they don't charge for movement of stuff from Lake Havasu. So, which is fine. But I just thought, I've never been, like, treated so rudely, like, so dismissively, by a company where you're going to buy, like, a pretty expensive item. Like, the bedroom sets there are not cheap. Like, you're looking at, like, if you're going to buy a decent bedroom set, a bedroom room set of furniture, you're looking somewhere at least if you're lowballing it, you're looking at about $1,200. If you're going for something really nice, and that's including if you decide to purchase the mattress with the set, you're looking at least $3,500 to $5,000. So I was like, the least you could do is be polite and, like, talk with the customer that is wanting some questions answered, instead of being like, as if though we were in her way, as if we were interrupting their day. I don't know. Like, apparently they didn't want to do paperwork that day, because they were also being super rude to that guy. By the way, YouTube, this is just so you know, it's a vapor inhaler. It's got, I wish I could read that, but I can't read it because I don't have my glasses with me. As a matter of fact, let me grab them. Hold on. I'll get the glasses so I can see what this thing says. Ow, my foot. These are my nice strong ones too. So my new ones, which are super strong. Let's see here. Hold on. There we go. Let's see here. What's it say? Levetmetamine. What kind of word is that? Levetmefetamine. What? Is there another name for that? It's a nasal decongestant. There's 50 milligrams of it in here. For temporary relief of your nasal congestion due to either common cold or hay fever and allergies, which is exactly what we're suffering from, by the way, is hay fever or what they call allergy. I'm going to say hay fever because we have hay everywhere out here. We literally live. I'll have to take you guys for a walk tomorrow or something and walk down here. If you walk straight down, I'm wrong. This is the front of the house. If you walk straight down the street this way, you walk right into the crops. We have alfalfa crops all around us. Okay. So all the farming fields are right down the road, right this way. And they're one right after the other, all the way down Highway 95 on both sides of the road. So where we're at is we're on Indian land over here. So we are on it's tribal land. We live on tribal land. And so all here in the tribal area is all crops and fields and farms. And straight down this way is all the alfalfa fields, which of course, if you know what alfalfa is, when they cut it all down, it smells so good when they do all the farming and they harvest. And then it's all in they just mow it like a regular lawn, right? And it's everywhere. And then they have the big combines come out and it like scoops it all up and like it comes out the back and it's just these big square plunk, plunk, plunk as it comes out the back of the thing. And then they come down with the big old things and pick them all up. And they have these massive stacks out there of them as they dry. And therefore, then you have hay. So every time we go driving out here, and now Carlisle does it because it's super damn funny, is every time we come out to exit onto the road, there's the big stacks out there. And both Sarah and I always go, hey, get it? And so now Carlisle does it every time we're in the car. So we'll go, hey, and he goes, hey, because it's cute and it's adorable and it's funny. Oh, poor buddy. He doesn't hear us, by the way, if anybody's wondering. He has his sound machine on, so it drowns out anything else. Oh God, I love when he literally curls up like this, you guys. He literally gets inside of it. He just bean pods. It's so cute. As you can see, his room is 75 degrees. So if you guys look up here on top, it shows that his room is 75. So y'all don't have to worry. Like, he's not freezing and he does not like to be warm. So even 75 might be a little bit too warm for him in there, but it'll start to cool off a little bit more as the night goes on. But yeah, so he bean pods himself. He like just gets curled up on his tummy and it's the cutest thing in the world. And yeah, he's such, you guys, I can't even explain to you guys how much I love that little dude. He's my heart. Like, he's my heart. I wish it didn't take me 100 years to eat something, you know? This is why Jay and I don't go out to eat very often, because me trying to go out to eat, we're there for forever, because one of two things. either I do like I'm doing now, and I take a couple bites and then I chit chat for a while, whatnot, or I force myself to shovel the food down, and then I don't talk for probably a good hour or so afterwards because I am fighting to keep my stomach from deciding it doesn't want anything in it. Because my stomach hates when I forcibly put food into it too quickly. I need to put some more Camphor on my lip because we are trying to heal this thing up quickly. So I've been, and it's definitely like drying it up like it says it will, but like I try to be really, really careful. Ah, that hurt. And it says it's supposed to moisturize all the area around it. It doesn't. It just dries everything out. But yeah, so trying to get this thing to go away. Like I said, it literally the same night after we got back from the show, the very same night, my lips split. I had chapped lips like crazy from being out in the wind. It was so bad. But my lips split open. And then by the next morning, by Sunday morning, this is on my face. So it was actually a whole lot worse. This looks so much better than what it looked like on Sunday morning. When I woke up Sunday morning, it was just, as soon as I woke up and I went to like smile to say good morning to the baby, because I didn't know that it had split on Saturday night. But on Sunday morning, I woke up and I went to smile at Bubby and it just split wide open and just started bleeding everywhere. Scared Carla because he said, "Oh no, owie, oh no, oh no." And it was because it busted wide open. He's such a little, what do they call it? Empathetic little being. He's like, he immediately knew something was wrong. But yeah, so Sunday was really bad. Yesterday, this stuff, saving grace. I always have that on hand. So someone like me who constantly gets chapped lips, anybody else out there deal with that? I think I get it from my damn biological father. When I was a kid, he constantly complained about his chapped lips. Constantly. And that man would use Carmex. He would always have Carmex on him. Carmex constantly, the little round tube of Carmex. And he used to always tell me, put this on your lips. Because my lips would be the same way as his all the damn time, constantly dry and cracking. I used to get, as a kid, my lip would split the same spot. It splits in the exact same spot every single time. Literally, I'm not kidding. If you look back at our videos, and anytime I've ever had a cold or gotten an allergy flare up or whatever, I've split my lip in the exact same spot every single time. And the worst part is when it does this, sometimes it'll split inward and I will end up with this whole side of my jaw will become so excruciatingly sore. This time around, I got lucky. It split towards the front. And when I smiled, it just ripped right into my like regular skin off of my lip, like the actual part of my face. Oh, that it hurts so bad. So right here on the bottom, like underneath right here, hurts. But it looks so much better than it did. And as a matter of fact, it does not even look this bad, like in real life. Like for some reason, this camera is like making this look super dark. So here, I will show you guys. I don't know how to fix the lighting on this camera. So let's see here. So you guys can see, I'm going to take the picture right now. And he's smiling. Look, you guys see it here, right? Right? Yeah. So let me pull this up for you. And you can see how it makes it look so dark. Oh my God, why does it make it look that dark on there? It is not that dark. I don't even know how to fix, like I was going to show you guys, but it's not that dark. I don't understand why it's so dark on there. How do I show it to you guys like naturally? Let's see if it still does it. It's probably going to still do it. Yeah, it looks still really dark. It's literally nowhere near that color. I wonder if there's a way to like show you guys on here, because it looks super dark for some reason on here. But like, you can see like my regular parts of my lip, which are like always like these big splits. This is because I have chronically dry lips. But yeah, it's like, it's flat now. And it's not even like, it's not that color. I don't know why it looks really bright red on here. It's not. It's really not. I don't know if maybe, is it because that lighting is so bad above it? Like because I have, I wonder, hold on. Oh, this one, it's this switch. Orange lights off. I have like the bright orange lights on in the background. No, it doesn't help. Like not by much anyway. I can't get this camera to like not be like feeding off of like the really, really bright like overhead light. There's a light right above me. So it's like it hits the camera and it looks so bright. I don't know. I even tried earlier to like adjust it, but I couldn't. It just wouldn't let me fix it. But anyway, yeah, it looks so bad on camera. It's really not that bad. So, like, honestly. Like, I don't know if anybody else likes the feel or smell of Vicks, but that's what this is. Like, it's literally like putting Vicks up your nostril. I have 2 of these. I could just stick them on my. Never liked Vicks, so. But I think it is the same. Like, I don't know why I try to look at the writing on it. Also, let's show you guys. Let's see if it'll come up, if I can get it to pull up. So I set a really low goal for this, the start of the year. Let's see here. We have done 1 week in a row. Okay. Let's look at my reading insight. I am at 6 of 12 titles read now. So what I have read so far, and I'm now on the Harry Potter series, but this is how I started off this year. So I am so bummed out right now because I had intended to read way more than where I'm at now. But every time I pick up my book and I start to read, Carlisle smacks my phone out of my hand. So he doesn't like it if I'm sitting off to the side reading while everybody else is like, while he's supposed to be playing and stuff. He does not want my attention away from him. So I have been trying to get my reading in the evening. So I've only gotten 6 books. But I said, okay, so for this year, I'm just going to read 12 books. Like I figured a book a month. No, but I am at 6 books now. So I have now completed reading The Host by Stephenie Meyer, which I've read this before, but I never really get a chance to like absorb everything in a book the first read through. And so I've read the book, like read it from cover to cover. And then I have listened to the book through like driving and whatnot, but you still miss details when you're not the one reading. Sometimes you kind of, your brain wanders or you're doing other things, which I've done when I've listened to these things. And then like, so this is the second time that I'm physically like with my glasses on reading the book. And I've read The Host by Stephenie Meyer. So good, by the way. First read through, I really enjoyed it. The first couple chapters were, that was a hard catch for me. Let me tell you, I'm not even kidding. It took me a hot minute, but it did the same thing. Stephenie, she did the same thing with Twilight, the first Twilight book. So the only reason why I sat through and powered through the first read through of The Host, because it was by Stephanie Meyer, was because I had already completed the Twilight Saga. And because I had completed it and realized how enjoyable the read was and that I really did genuinely like the read, I wanted to give her that chance. And let me tell you what, the only other book that she wrote that I absolutely love, and gosh dang it, I wish she would come out with another book, is from The Chemist. It's called The Chemist, and it is so good. So I did read Stephanie Meyer's The Host. I read, what is this called? This one, let me just put my glasses on so I can tell you guys what it is. So Stephanie Meyer's The Host was my first book of 2024. Okay. Oh gosh, come here. Then I read by Melissa De La Cruz and Michael Johnston. I read Frozen Heart of Dread. Now I have read the second book as well. This is my second time reading this book. The first time I read this book, I missed so many details that I started to read the second book and I stopped. I'm at chapter 14 in the second book, and I am thoroughly confused because clearly I missed some information in the first book. So now that I've read the first book again, and now it makes sense. There's several things that now in the second book make more sense. So now I can finish the second book. But it's called Frozen. That's the name of the trilogy, Frozen Heart of Dread, which is so good. Then, of course, I have listened to multiple times, but I finally sat down and read the book, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Let me just say, this is a book I did not realize I would need tissues for the majority of the book. I think I cried reading that book more than I did in any other thing I've ever read. I was just crushed. That book crushed my soul into pieces, but it gives you such a great grasp on genuine humanity. Then I did read, the Twilight Anniversary Edition thing of, what's it called? Life and Death. It's the flipped reverse roles of the Twilight characters. So it's a gender flip of all the characters. And I have to say, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. I know that she was trying to write it to tell people that you could flip the genders you could gender swap the characters and the story would still work, but it doesn't. It just doesn't. And you're lying to yourself if you think it does. I think the majority of everybody that read this all agreed. Very bad choice. I think what it was is because everybody was waiting for her to release Midnight Sun, which, by the way, that was the next book I read right after that because I needed to fix my disappointment in that Life and Death. But if you are a genuine, true reader of books, you really genuinely love books and whatnot, let me put these away. Then the way that she wrote Life and Death wraps up the whole Twilight book, the first Twilight book, as if, let's just put it this way, if Edward did what Bella wanted at the end of the first book, which is change her, right? She had changed because of the attack, which Edward would not have been the one to change her at that point. If they had let her change because James bit her, then what they did in Life and Death, it would have ended the Twilight books right there, right? They wouldn't have continued because Bella would have become a vampire and yada, 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 yada. All right. So they would have wrapped up. There would have been no other books. But Stephanie had already written the majority of how she expected the story to go. But then she kind of flushed more stuff out, which is how you ended up with 4 books for the Twilight Saga. So, which I'm thankful she did because it made more sense to flesh it out and to really humanize the Cullens, right? Because they really genuinely do not want to live the life of a vamp, right? They don't want to live that life of taking life. They want to live a life by giving back and providing for and allowing like things, but yet within the shadows, I guess you could say, like kind of like not in the forefront of anything. So the way she wrote the first book, Twilight, switching it, calling it Life and Death, and then switching the gender roles, it doesn't work, right? Because it ends the storyline right there. You never get the Edward and Bella thing, which is where Bella is still human. Bella can change. Her body can still grow and change and age and do the things a body is supposed to do, which is how you end up with Renesmee, which is how you end up closing out the whole Jacob side of the story, right? It's how you find out that there's a reason why there's this connection with her and Jacob that they neither of them understands fully. There's not that in Life and Death, which is why I say the story doesn't work. If the story was supposed to work, you would have been able to flush this out in 4 books. Like you would have been able to stretch this to a 4-book thing, and it would have showed you that these characters could have been played either side. And no, they could not have been played either side because Beaufort, don't ask. I don't know. The names were horrible. Beaufort can't have babies, right? He can't carry a baby. And Edith can't get pregnant. She's a vampire. So switching Edward to Edith and Bella to Beaufort, it doesn't work to the same storyline of Twilight, which is these 2 characters, none of the characters for that matter, could play the opposite role, right? You couldn't switch the roles and make the whole universe story work like she said it could. Well, you could definitely make this story work with gender swap. No, you couldn't. Because there are things that the genetically female body can do that a genetically male body cannot. And one of those is a genetic, I'm not talking about anything else. I'm talking genetically, right? Genetic sex. So if you are genetically born with a uterus and ovaries and menstruation, genetically, I'm not talking about identity wise, I'm talking genetics. If you genetically are born as a assigned sex female, not woman, not girl, but female, XX chromosomes, there are things that body physically can do for the majority, because I know there are XX chromosome people out there who have a very hard difficulty, my daughter being one of them, getting and staying pregnant. So I understand that. So like a genetic female body can carry a child, and a male body cannot. An XY body cannot. So there's that thing. And that is what happens in Twilight. And I'm only talking about this book, by the way. We're not getting into semantics, and we're not getting into politics, and we're not getting into any of the identity roles type thing. I'm talking specifically for this book series. The character of Bella, who is a genetic XX female, or carries a child, right? In the books, you get to a point where she carries a child. It almost takes her life carrying this child. Beaufort could not do that. He can't. So the story ends in the first book. You never get to the next books, the fight for his life, the killing of, Edward. When Edward kills James, it sets Victoria out after Bella. But in this one, Edith kills whatever the girl's name was. I forgot what it was again. And there's none of the rest of, like, the story stops there. Like, there's nobody to come after because Victoria came after them, right? And I think they said Victor or something like that is the female or the male version of Victoria. So, because like I said, everybody's roles were flopped. So if all of that was supposed to work the opposite way, then we should have gotten another book and another book and the whole Edith leaving Beaufort so that for his own good and him to go on and live a human life. That all should have happened, because that's what happens in the story is Edward tells her, I mean, Edward leaves her. He thinks that it's for her own good to go away from her and to make her, force her into living a human life, because that's all he wants for her. He doesn't want to take her, what he considers robbing her of her soul. Anyhow, so I did read Life and Death. No, it does not work. It is, love you, Stephanie, and I love your work, and I love the story, and I love several of your other books, but that story does not work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Then Midnight Sun, I read right after, and all it is just a telling of Twilight from Edward's perspective. So now you get the entire story, the entire first book. And I really wish, and I don't think she is going to do it. As much as all of us would love it, she's not going to do it. I would love to have heard the rest of the books. So New Moon, I would love to have New Moon split, to where, like how you get with Breaking Dawn, you get a Jacob perspective in Breaking Dawn, and then back to Bella, because she's in a position where she's not going anywhere. She's literally dying in Breaking Dawn. So you get like all of Bella, the wedding, the honeymoon, and then the coming back from the honeymoon kind of phase, and then it goes into Jacob's perspective. So you get Bella's pregnancy from Jacob's perspective. You don't really get inside of Bella's head. And then you get back to Bella again when she is coming out, like coming back into a living state, I guess you would say, after the birth of Nessie. You just nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster. Anyway, so you get that. So I would love to see New Moon from that perspective of Edward and Jacob, right? Because New Moon is all from Bella's perspective. And it kind of also, there's moments in New Moon that are super, super cringy. As a reader, seeing this young lady just spiral into a severe depression, and a very unhealthy attachment and unhealthy depression. And it is, I don't care whether or not it's fantasy or whatever, the depression in that book, that the situation that she is in is very, very dark and deep and unhealthy. And so whatnot. And I know it's a fantasy book and it's not real, not based on reality, but that type of attachment to someone to the point of your codependency on them dictated on whether or not you were able to get yourself out of bed in the morning is super unhealthy. So there's that. But I would have loved to have heard that book from what Edward's doing once he leaves. Like he leaves, right? He completely leaves Forks. So I'd love to see, what was he doing? What is this research he was doing? What is this stuff he was digging into? Because he does mention it to her when they have that conversation in the book, but we don't get any details. We just know that he was out looking for things. So I want to hear that, but she's not going to write that. I just know she's not. But I'd also love to hear things from Jacob's inner voice and inner, like what's going on in his head when he first realizes what he is, and when he goes through that first initial change, because we don't hear about it in the books. Like we don't get a real understanding of it. And then of course you get into Eclipse. Like I said, everything's from her perspective. And then we did get the short second life of Britannia, so we get to hear a thought and whatnot from the newborn vampire side of things, right? We get that little novella. But I would have loved to have heard New Moon or Eclipse from both the male protagonists or main characters. I would love to have heard what is happening from their perspective during that time, from both Jacob and Edward, specifically Edward more than anything, because we all kind of know, like Jacob kind of speaks what he's thinking out loud. He even does it in Breaking Dawn. So when you hear, like when Bella hears him say things, so when Bella talks from all her perspective, when Jacob says something to her, anything that Jacob says, it's whatever Jacob's thinking. He doesn't usually hold back his thoughts. So if you're hearing it out loud, it's because it's what he's thinking. So not too much do I need of Jacob's perspective on anything, but I would like to hear some certain things. And then Edward, definitely want to know, because he does have a tendency to try to protect Bella. And that even if that even includes thoughts and where his head is and what he's thinking. So I'd love to have heard those books, especially in Eclipse, and absolutely would love to hear where his head is during Breaking Dawn. I would love to hear where his head is during Breaking Dawn, because we don't get any of that at all, because he's so enamored and overwhelmed by Bella and this control that she has right from the start, that we don't really get too much past that. But yeah, anyway, so Midnight Sun. So then I've also just finished reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I would love to get the Philosopher's Stone, but I know that it's just a wording change on that aspect, because they think Americans are stupid and don't know what a Philosopher's Stone is. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm reading the Harry Potter books again. So now I just started on the Chamber of Secrets. So that is now book number 7 I have started. I'm just really bummed out because I really wanted to get further than I am. But the other book that I was talking about is called The Chemist by Stephenie Meyer. If you haven't read that, y'all don't even know what you're missing, because it is such a good book. Like, I thought for sure she was supposed to be writing The Host, part 2. Like she said, she was like, that's what it said on her website, that was going to become a trilogy, and nothing since. Like, I haven't heard anything. I don't even know if she's got any other books coming out. I really wish she would, but I was hoping that she would come out with either a second part to The Chemist, because good book, such a good book, so out of left field. That is not a story I thought would even be something she would write. So good. Some of the phrasing is juvenile in it, but like the story overall is so gripping. So yeah, there's that. And then the of course, The Host. I really wish she would continue The Host. There is so much to that story that just gets left open-ended in the first book. If you never read the book, do yourself a favor, do not watch the movie until you read the book. Because the movie, you're going to be like, I love Saoirse Ronan so much. I love her, especially in the movie Hannah. Oh my God. If you've ever watched the movie Hannah, you'll know what I'm talking about. The series Hannah did really good because you get more of that story fleshed out, which is super freaking good, by the way. But the movie, they wrap that movie up so nice and tight. Like, oh my God, they give you so much of the information, the really good, important, like in your face, heavy bits from that storyline. But yeah, Hannah is really good. Really, really good. Saoirse Ronan, amazing, amazing, amazing. She's done so many movies, but she plays the main character in The Host. And nothing on her. Like I said, Saoirse, amazing. The movie sucked. There is so much missing from that movie. So much detail, so many things that are not included that are so damn important, especially a certain friendship. And it's an absolute friendship. There's no relationship there. There's a major friendship that happens in the book that never happens in the movie. And it's such a pivotal thing. It is one of the most pivotal moments. And another extra thing that happens at the end of the book that never ever happens in the movie. It is one of the biggest character plays, one of the biggest character arcs in the entire book. Like, huge character change. Like, this character's arc is fantastic, like to die for kind of arc. And they did not include it in the movie. And I was so pissed that it's not in the movie. So yeah, really thorough disappointment. So if you've never, ever, ever read the book, The Host by Stephenie Meyer, do yourself a favor and give it a read. Power through those first 5 chapters. Power through them, push through, because you won't regret it. The first 5 is a slow burn. It's just the slowest burning process. Like you're like, come on. But those first 5 chapters, there's information in those first 5 chapters that are so vital down the road, that are so important. But I'll tell you, I almost wanted to give up on the book because I was just like, oh, Stephenie, you did fantastic in Twilight. I mean, that first Twilight book, though, didn't catch me at first. It took me 3 attempts to finally sit down. And the only reason why, and I tell you guys this, the only reason why I read the Twilight books was because the friend who got me the first book bought me the second book. When the movie was getting, like, I think at that time, she bought me the second book, and the third book was getting ready to be released. And so was the first movie. And she was adamant that I needed to read it. Though she never did finish the saga herself. But she was like, you have to, because the movie's going to be coming out and the third book's about to release. And I want to get your third book for your birthday. And I need you to read, like, you need to read that. And I hadn't read the first one. She's like, what do you mean you haven't read the first one yet? I bought you the first one. So I finally was like, okay, look, she's buying these books for me. I need to just. So I sat down and I was like, fine. I got the book out again. And I started over because I was like, I'd already dismissed the book the first 2 times because of the fact it's just this, for me, it started off with this whiny teenager, like, girl, you're going to go live with your dad. Get over it. I mean, I get it. Like, your mom is a bit of a wild child, the way she explains her mom in those first couple of lines, but like, get over it. And then I start reading further in, like, I get that past that part because of course those first couple of chapters are so hard to swallow because it just sounds so like, oh, woe is me. I'm a teenager. Boo hoo. Like every other teenager in this world when it comes to going to school and not liking your parents. Like, why is that the go-to type thing? But then you realize that it's not that she doesn't like her parents. And she has this massive love for her mom, right? Like, she's so afraid to leave her mom without her because she's the one that takes care of her mom. But like, she has this disconnect from her dad because, like, he's this small town sheriff and she's from the big city. Like, she grew up in the big city, and coming to this small town is always feels so claustrophobic. So it's not that she doesn't love her dad. She just feels very disconnected because they're both very shy people. They're not extroverts in any sense. Both of them are very kind of kept to themselves. And that's kind of how she explains herself, is she's very introverted. She doesn't fit in. And so, but you don't realize that right at the start. You just kind of get this whole, oh, I don't fit in. Nobody's going to like me. If I can't even fit in with all the students where I was living, like, how am I supposed to fit in with, a tinier group? And it's like, maybe stop looking at everything so negatively and like step into it with a whole open perspective. That's how I am though, but that's me. So I was like, let me just fill this character out a little bit more. Let's go through, let's let her have her moment. And so as I started reading further in, and then you start getting to the point where he starts asking her questions. We got into the chapter where he actually is asking her questions. And so without giving her really any chance to really think her answers through, he just pops off questions. So he wants just the first thing that comes to her mind. And so as you start to understand a little bit more of like where she is coming from, then it starts to then I start to be able to connect a bit more to the character herself and being like, dude, I get it. She's never been a child. And that is the difference between her perspective on life and, say, Jessica Stanley, the girl that's in school with her, who has gotten to be a kid her whole life, who has a mom who is the mom, who has taken care of her and touched on her boo-boos and given her kisses and put on her band-aids and made her breakfast, whereas Bella is the complete opposite. Bella's had to pick up her mom and had to put the boo-boos and treat them for her mom, and had to kind of wrap up her mom's broken heart, and had to make sure her mom, didn't burn the house down when it came to making experimental food. And like, she's always been the caretaker versus being taken care of. And to her, anyone trying to take care of her just seems completely out of sorts and out of place. Charlie's not used to being cared for. Therefore, he doesn't know how to care for someone else. And so having Bella come in and be this caregiver to him, it just is like this whole, like, how do I respond to being cared for? So Bella has that same, like, they both have that same conflicting thing, which is like, that's when it got me, when I got to that point where the questions being, I think it's like chapter 5, where there's these back and forth questions, right? There's this shooting, like, she asks him a bunch of questions, but then he asks her a ton of questions to get to kind of know Bella. Like, you flesh Bella's character really out. And if anybody out there who's watched the book or watched the movies was like, the fuck is this shit? If you read the books, it makes way more sense. And you understand why Kristen Stewart plays Bella as this awkward, very reserved, unsure of even how to talk or respond to anything type of person, because that's exactly who Bella is. She is so uncomfortable, like painfully uncomfortable amongst her peers, because she doesn't fit in with them. She doesn't see things on the same like plane as them. She has all her life been middle-aged. She has been forced as a young child to be a parent to a parent. And so childhood never touched her. She never had like the genuine, experiences of what it means to just be a little person and to learn to ride your bike and, have mommy teach you how to make cookies in the kitchen and, sitting in your high chair and playing with your food to learn different textures. She never had any of those experiences because she was so little, but yet so forced to be mentally mature from a very early age. So she doesn't fit in. It's a very awkward feeling, and I know this feeling all too well. But to be the grown-up amongst people your own age, to be the adult amongst the people your own age, feeling like you understand more with the adults in the room than you do with the kids your own age, to feel like you would be better suited to sit at the teacher's table than at your classmates' table. I get it. I've been there. That was my childhood. And so I understand from that point. So if you only watch the movies, bless your heart, because they're painful. They're painful to watch, and they're missing so much information. The actors all did fantastic. There's only one person I probably would have changed in all of the movies, and at that time, and that would have been, as much as it pains me to say it, but Robert Pattinson. I love him as an actor now. Like, everything he's done since Twilight has been fantastic. But there are multiple points in the first 3 movies, because in Breaking Dawn he does really well, but those first 3 movies, like, he always has this disgusted, like, he can't stand anything face all the time. And I understand that him being around Bella at like, and it's described in the books too, that her scent is painful, right? It's a pain for him, but he's capable of concealing that from her, right? There's this concealment that's there. He doesn't put it forward. So in the movie, when he first gets a good whiff of her, he acts completely disgusted, right? And that's understandable. Like, he's disgusted. It says that even in The book, she thinks that he thinks she stinks. And that's why she's like, my hair smells like my strawberry shampoo. I don't know what you're smelling, but okay, rude. You know, like she finds him to be absolutely rude and uncalled for. But you get this look at him, and he looks like he's about to vomit, right? Like he is going to vomit his guts up, that he is in, like, he's just absolutely disgusted. And that's not how it's described in the books. Like she thinks that he thinks she might stink, but it's like, okay, but then when she looks at him again, he looks furious. Like if the statement in her head was, if looks could kill. And it made her blood run cold. And so in that moment, for the first time in her life, she said she didn't go flushed red. She went stark white. Like every bit of color drained from her because she was terrified in that moment. You never get that moment from Edward in the movies. Robert Pattinson does not play absolutely loathing her. In that moment, he absolutely hates her. He hates her for even showing up in Forks, for even coming in to wreck his entire existence. Hates her. She never ever, like, hi Jesse. It never happens in the movies. So that's the only character I think I would have changed per se. And also he really doesn't speak the highest of Twilight. He says, you know, like, that's kind of like the one he doesn't like being too well associated with, though that's where he really is associated. A lot of people remember him as the guy from Twilight. But he has really done well because, like, the Batman, come on now. Oh, hello. If you watch it, like, one of the movies I'm not a big fan of, but gosh dang, the acting is amazing in, is Cosmopolis. Amazing. If you haven't seen Tenet, you need to see Tenet. Tenet is kind of like, if you've ever watched Inception, that's one of those movies you have to literally watch it. Don't freaking miss a beat. Don't walk away. I'm doing great. Don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, Tenet is the same way. When you watch the movie Tenet, you need to be present for that movie full bend. Don't look away from the screen, not once. Don't even pause it to go to the bathroom. Make sure you have gone and you are snacked out and ready to go before you start that movie, because that movie, you can't miss a single point, because then you will be lost. Same thing with Inception. You've got to watch Inception all the way through from start to finish without blinking, so to speak. Because you'll get lost if you're not paying attention to every single bit of information. Tenet, though, amazing. The Rover, Robert Pattinson, Rover. Oh my God. Yes. Remember me. Have a box of tissue. And I mean a box, maybe two, because hot damn, and I won't say why, because if you've never seen that movie, I'm not going to give it away, but you better have at least 2 boxes of tissue with you, because had I been at least warned to have tissue with me, I might not have been, well, I mean, you'll be blindsided. It doesn't matter. You'll be blindsided. And I won't say when, where, or what in that movie, but you will be absolutely full-blown blindsided. And I was devastated for probably a week after that movie. After I watched that movie, I sat back. Even though other things were going on in my life, that movie kept creeping back into my head and into my thoughts for a good week after. And I just wrecked my soul. Such a good movie, such good acting on the 2 main character parts, and just the most devastating. I'm going to cry just thinking about that movie. The most devastating movie in all of existence. If you've never seen Remember Me or read the book, you should, because it is so good and so, like, it'll take a piece of your soul with it when it's over. Not kidding. Water for Elephants. The book is so good. Oh my God. Yes. They definitely leave quite a significant amount out in the movie, but They do a really good job. Like that movie is really good. The stuff they left out, it can be left out without damaging the story. God damn, they did such a good job in the movie. The movie is so well put together. Let's see, what else have I watched him in? Little Ashes. So good. Little Ashes is so good. The Parents Handbook. Yeah, that's that's very emo. That's like real emo back in the like that. That one's yeah, Robert Pattinson. And then there's a couple other ones I've watched him in, but those are some of the really big ones that I really, really loved. Remember Me, Water for Elephants, Tenet. Tenet is so good. I've seen him in Cosmopolis. Not my favorite one, but then again, that's just kind of not my, like, I don't like to be stuck in a spot through an entire movie. There's so much good dialogue. The movie has amazing dialogue and the most amazing, like it's literally the whole movie is like a massive monologue, but it is so good. But the fact that 99% of the movie takes place in the limousine, in that little small space, you have this small space to work with. For me, as a viewer, and this is just for me, this is not like everybody, this is just my personal opinion. I don't like feeling claustrophobic. And that movie, as you go through that entire movie, you just start feeling more and more and more and more and more closed into this small space that he is talking and talking and talking and talking and talking in. And these other things are happening and talking, and then other things come into the small space, and then you're a little bit more packed in, and there's still all this talking. And then there's a couple of spots where they leave the limousine for a moment, only to go right back into the limousine, and it's only for this little small speck of time, and then you're back in this small space again, and you're there, and you're there, and you're there. And it just became, for me, like I said, if I closed my eyes and just listened, which is what I ended up doing for the most part, is just close my eyes because I couldn't be in that small space much longer. It was making me so antsy, which I think that's the whole point. But for me, I get very panicky in small spaces, but that's just due to trauma. So listening to it, though, I could close my eyes and listen and put my own picture together of the words he's talking about and what he's saying. And in doing that, the words in that movie, the entire script dialogue of that movie is so flipping good. It's genius. It's brilliant, And then, like I said, you got Tenet and you got The Rover, which, by the way, The Rover is a blow me away kind of movie. And then there was a newer movie that Sarah and I recently just watched, and I can't remember the name of it. And Robert Pattinson is a dad in the movie. So it starts off with him with a baby, like a baby girl. I can't remember the name of the movie for the life of me. I'll have to look it up again. But he's a prisoner who was sent, like they're in like a space prison, which is like all these undesirables were sent for this thing into space under a certain pretense. And then, as all space movies, something goes awry. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, definitely he's got some really good pieces of work out there. So really, really love what he's done since he's come out of doing Twilight. I love Taylor Lautner and his abilities, but he just really hasn't taken off after that. Like, I mean, he was in Valentine's Day, and then he did I always forget the name of the damn movie where he is like finds out that he's like adopted and whatnot. I forgot the name of it again, but it's with Lily Collins in it. Oh my God, please, Nostril. Oh my God, my sinuses are so clogged up. That's what happens when you have an allergy to dust and you decide to go to a monster truck rally to take the grandbaby. and you are out in 30-mile-per-hour winds in the dirt. Very smartly bought a thing to cover up Carlisle's stroller so that way he was able to see all the events and everything and not get touched by a single bit of dust. But Sarah and I, we got to sit in it full force. So my face is still like around my face and everything is still raw from Sarah and I. Like we said, we got a very amazing exfoliation while we were out there. We both got very exfoliated at the racetrack. So, but yeah, we had so much fun at that. But anyway, so far, those are the 6 books I've read for the year. So far for January. I had not intended to be that far in, like I had said I was going to do 12 books for the year. I have changed it now. So my goal is 110 for the year. So let's be realistic. Come on. I know I'm going to read quite a bit. However, if I'm going to reach 110 books for the year, I've got to make sure that I take the time to sit down and do my reading, because little Bane likes to slap the book out of my hand. So I am reading now. I've started reading the Harry Potter series. Now I've read the books 3 times now, like actually physically read the books. And then I've listened to them countless times, but I never really just listened to them like without interruption, right? Like there's always, like when I would drive and stuff, when I was working, I would drive and I would play it on the drive there, on the drive back, but I never really like listened to it uninterrupted. But we love you guys too, Jesse. But like reading the books, there's a different experience when you're the one holding the book, or like for me, I've been reading it. Well, I don't read it on here, by the way. I do read it on my Kindle. It's way easier to read it on my Kindle than trying to do it with the book or with the phone. But I have the app on my phone so that I can pull, like you guys, I have so many books. So I swear it's not a problem. And several of these are like stacked books. So like this one has 7 books in the series. So like that's, the Harry Potter ones. Then you got things like the trilogies. So you got 3 books in that one. You've got 4 books in this one. You've got 3 books in that one. 3 books in this one. I've got the whole entire Jane Austen collection. So that's quite a few. I've got 3 books in this one. I've got the whole Twilight saga. That includes the Short Second Life of Bri Tanner. We've got the Hunger Games. I've got 50 Shades of Grey. I've got all the Anne Rice books. And that includes her Wolf Gift collection, her Witches of the Wayfair Witches. I always say that wrong every single time. And then, of course, the Stephenie Meyer books that I have on here. I also have Sylvia Day's Bared to You. Not a fan. Like, those ones are okay. I think that's the one. Is that the one that I read? I think that's the one, right? The Bared to You is the... Yes. Okay, so that's the one with... Oh, boy. My brain is... Anna? I know not Anastasia, because Anastasia Steele is part of 50 Shades of Grey. You got Anastasia and Christian Grey. It's another name on Sylvia Day's Bared to You. I forgot the stupid girl's name in that one. Anyway, it doesn't even matter. That one is a very... It's supposed to be like an erotica book, kind of like 50 Shades, though 50 Shades is not really... Like, you could have the 50 Shades books without any of the kinky stuff or kinks or whatever, and the books would still work. Though people are talking about how it was... And, of course, E.L. James has said it was a fan fiction from Twilight, but I don't see how the two... Other than... that there's a guy who's kind of, the out of my league guy and the quiet bookworm girl. Other than that, like, there's no real, like, the comparisons. Like, if you put the comparison chart together, they talk about how, like, here's this, and then the best friend, and then, this part, and then this, and then that. Like, these are who the characters are supposed to match up to. And it's like, oh, it's a stretch. Let's be real. It's a stretch. It's a very, there's only one part, I think, in the entire series. No, two parts in the entire series where it actually made me cry. And if you've never read them, so I won't get into detail, but something happens and there's a uncertainty about a character. And then you realize that uncertainty there's a relief to that uncertainty. There's an answer to it. And when you read the character's response to finding out, like, their answer to that uncertainty, it brings tears, like, without permission. It brings tears. And I won't say whether they're happy tears or sad tears or whatever. I'll just say there's tears, forced tears that happen without your permission. And then there's another moment that happens later in, like, I think is it the second book? Yeah, it's in the second book. Near the end of the second book, something happens. And like, seeing the response of one of the characters to the event that happens. And it's not even from that character's perspective. It's just one of the characters. And seeing the main character's perspective of that character's response to something makes you feel exactly what it feels like to be on the outside witnessing something that is like pulling your heartstrings out and like handing you your guts on a plate, because it is, there's that moment. I need to just stick this thing. I need one of these kind of things that are smaller. You just stick it in your nose and just leave it there. My nostrils are so congested. This works like, it says temporary relief. Yeah, for like 20 seconds. And then I got to do it again because it just keeps clogging back up. And I've got like a bruise where I didn't realize my eye actually did bruise, where he hit the crud out of me earlier with that toy. He clocked me in the face with the toy, by the way. That's the fun part about having, he didn't hit me on purpose, by the way. He was playing with the toy and he was doing the go fast. And he was saying fast and making it go fast. And I was like, honey, hold on. And he went like this, and he lost grip on it, and it got me. So, and I'm like going like this because I know it's going to fly out of his hand. I just knew it was going to fly out of his hand. And yeah, because he goes, go slow, go fast. So he's learning fast and slow. And yeah, so projectiles have become a part of daily life in this house. So yeah, I even got my Holy Bible on here. Go figure. I've also got Raise Your Glass, which is, by the way, a really good read if you guys ever get a chance to read that. Another good one to read if you've never read it. I think every human in this world should read it. It's called As a Man Thinketh. Yeah, I think every person in existence. I think it should even be a part of a school curriculum, honestly. But it's called As a Man Thinketh. And it's not, when the title is deceiving, it's not based on men, as in man, like the male XY. It means as a man, as in human, mankind, is what it references. But it's called As a Man Thinketh. Because I think As a Human Thinketh would have sounded stupid, but As a Man Thinketh is what the book's called. And that is a book that when you read it, it will leave you thinking and thinking and thinking and scratching your head with, oh my gosh. It really puts a lot of things in perspective and makes you really, really look at bigger pictures of everything around you. Really opens up your mind to a lot of things, and it's worth the read. Like, without a doubt, it's worth the read. So if you get a chance and you like to read, I would read that. So I'm also, I don't have them up here. I haven't gone to get them yet. I've got books that Neil got me for my birthday last year, and I recently read them. Let me pull them up because I do have copies of them on my Kindle. Let me pull those ones up. Go to my library. Go to it's where are you at? Oh yeah, that was the other one. Crossfire series is with Gideon Cross. That was the other ones. That wasn't the Sylvia. This is the Crossfire, right? Wrong. It's the wrong button. This one. So the Crossfire series is, yeah, that is the one by Sylvia Day. That's the one. The Bared to You, whatever. It's called the Crossfire series. It's Gideon Cross and whatever the chick's name is. I can't remember her name, so whatever. Where's it at? Oh, I'm so bummed out about that one. That makes me so mad. Okay, where's it at? 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 Is it in this one? I don't remember. No, it's not in this. It's going to be under Nora Roberts. So it's called... that's not it. It's only the 3 books that go together. Okay, so The Awakening, The Becoming, and The Choice, right? And then, of course, I have The Witness, but that's a whole different thing by Nora Roberts. But by Nora Roberts, it's a trilogy. It's called, what is the name of the trilogy? I don't remember the name of the trilogy. I don't want to load it right now. I just want to look at the information, details. Here we go. The Dragonheart Legacy, right? So the Dragonheart Legacy has 3 books in the series. Come on, go all the way down. But anywho, so it's the Dragonheart series, because I was trying to figure out, by Nora Roberts, the first book called The Awakening, then The Becoming, and then The Choice. And I ended up reading those. Now, Neil bought me The Awakening, right, from the series, and then I purchased the other 2 books because I read the first book in one sitting because I'm crazy like that. But that is another one I'm going to reread because I have missed a bunch of stuff. By the time I got to the last book, I was very thoroughly confused about 2 of the parts that happened in the book. So I really do need to go back through and redo those. So those are going to be a set that I am reading this time around, as well as I am going to read The Witness. Not finished it. I started it, have not finished it, by Nora Roberts. And then if you guys haven't, if you go listen to the books that Stephen Fry has written, you've got Heroes and Mythos, which are so good. So good. But those ones I listen to. I'm not going to physically read those ones. The Mortal Instruments, I am wishy-washy about the Mortal Instruments books. There's moments where it's like, oh, this is so good. And then other moments I'm like, are you for real? Jace makes me so mad in the Mortal Instruments. Like, his character makes me so mad in the books. You know, like, there's moments where you're just like, you want to love Jace so much. And then there's other times where I'm like, you know what? Why don't you just disappear? Just poof, be gone. Just be gone. You know, it just happens. Sometimes it just happens. So I do have all the books here by Stephenie Meyer, all of them. And the only one that I wish I could just absolutely erase from my brain, just scrub it out of my brain and never have to think about it again, is the 10-year anniversary Life or Death book. Because, like, I talked about it earlier on the stream. We're not going to get into it. But yeah. Now, I started reading, I did read Girl Online by Zoe Sugg. If you know her online, you know her as like Zoe or Zoella. She had a Zoella channel, whatnot, but she's with Alfie Days. Got 2 little beautiful baby girls now. But anyway, definitely a very, very teenage book. I read the first one, and I usually like YA type books, like, you know, the younger, like, kind of YA but dystopian type things. And this one was just more of a I guess you'd say, I don't want to sound mean when I say it. It's going to sound really mean when I say it, but like it's written from the perspective of a very privileged life, I guess you could say. It just seems so far out of place from what real girls that age really endure and go through. It just seems so far left field, like reading it. Maybe it's just because I grew up, you know, in and out of foster care and didn't really like have that like family upbringing. I didn't know any extended family. We didn't really do family gatherings. We didn't do reunions and yearly things and family trips and stuff like that, right? We didn't do those kinds of things. We did a couple things like that when I was in foster care. Like the foster family we were in, we did 2 trips during a certain part of the year up to Big Bear, which was beautiful and I loved it, which was absolutely fantastic. And I wish, like, there's times in my life where I go back and I always think, where would I be now if I never had to go back home to my biological mother? Where would I have been if I got to stay with that foster family? If our placement had been permanent with them? Where would my sister's life had ended up had we both gotten to stay in that family and whatnot? I mean, I love my siblings. Don't ever like mistake that. There's 5 of us, and like I couldn't even imagine not having contact with them, but they're good. They're good. But I always wonder, and I always look back at, if my older sister and I had never had to leave that foster family, if we had gotten permanent placement with them when they put in for permanent placement, where would we have ended up? Or how would our lives have been different had we gotten to stay with them permanently? Yeah, so there's that. But we won't dwell on things that aren't so. But yeah, it's some of those things where I look back and I go, I read Girl Online, and then I thought like listening to it, because I read it while listening to the audio as well. So because I would read some of it and then I'd have it on audiobook form when I was doing work, and then I'd come back and I'd sit down and pick up right where I would left, where the book left off, like the audiobook left off. But yeah, I hear that, like listening to it and reading that book. I never did decide to continue the story. I did not purchase the next book. I didn't purchase the remainders of the book. Like there's several books that go there, but she has written another trilogy, and I don't know yet if I'm going to decide to purchase it. I haven't made that decision yet. She wrote it in conjunction with another author. And they worked together to write the other story that she put together. And I can't remember the name of the bird. It's a very popular bird in the UK. Magpie. It's the Magpie Society. That's the name of the book. The Magpie Society. I have not read any of it yet. I haven't listened to any of it. Haven't really done any research into it. But I was told that it actually is a pretty decent read. So maybe. Little nugget. Oh my God, he's so stinking. I can't with him. He's so stinking cute. But Sarah and myself are very congested from being out at the monster truck rally and all end in the dirt. I feel bad for the people that happen to be standing at the other end of the track when King Sling came through and did the donut at the end of the track, and the group of people that were at the very end of the track waiting for their monster truck ride, right? If you bought certain tickets, you got to ride in this big, huge monster truck. It seated like 9 people. And they'd go through the one back track and take them out there and do a set of donuts, whatever, and come back. And then there's a line of people there. And then they have the regular show happening in the big arena. And King Sling, who, by the way, if you don't know who King Sling is Dennis Anderson. Dennis Anderson is the creator and original driver of Gravedigger, who has passed those reins on to his two boys. So his one son now runs and drives Gravedigger with the rest of the team. And his other son now has their other off branching part called Son of a Digger. So Son of a Digger is another truck and another group that Dennis Anderson's son has made. And Dennis Anderson was pulled out of retirement. He retired in 2017. He got yanked out of retirement and encouraged by this buddy of his to come and do the 2X tour and bring his new baby with him, his new truck, which his new truck is not for the big like events. It's for coming to the big events. And it's a 4-seater truck, which allows him to have his co-pilot in the seat with him. And he is able to take 2 people, paying customers or people, when you come in and you buy certain tickets or certain hats and whatnot, you get a raffle ticket. And twice during the show, they do a raffle drawing and 2 people's names are pulled at those 2 raffle drawings. And 2 lucky people from the audience get to get into King Sling, and he takes you on a freestyle ride through the monster truck course. And that means several big jumps and all that. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so we got to be there for that. And he took these 2 people with him from the audience, which was actually a couple people. One of the guys we were actually all talking with and having a great, all of us were laughing and having a good time. And his ticket got drawn and he got to go up there. It was really awesome. But the King Sling went to the end down at the one spot and he did this donut right next to the line of people that were in line to get on the monster truck back road ride. And because it was blowing like 30 miles an hour winds, it just took the big old mound of dirt from his donut and just right over that wall. And the people that were standing there, literally, I kid you not, were just covered in dirt. Like covered. Like they got, like as if somebody walked and just dumped a whole bucket of sand on him. It was like, we were like, oh no. All of us that were in the stands were like, oh, I would have hated to be those people down at that end, because I can imagine the choking and the coughing and everything that came with that, because it was so much dirt, like so much dirt. I mean, it's a monster truck throwing dirt up over a wall and it landing on the entire line of people that were standing there. But yeah, so we inhaled a ton of dirt and got a very amazing exfoliation to our skin. And yeah, and we ended up with all this, the congestion that comes with it. If you are somebody who has a dust allergy, which Sarah has a severe dust allergy, and she also has a really bad allergy to multiple trees in this area. And so there are a couple of trees that are in the desert out here that Sarah actually has an allergy to. She's actually allergic to. And all that stuff gets in the air when it starts blowing out here. And so anyway, she is feeling the like way worse effects. Like for me, I have a dust allergy, but I'm just congested now from what they call hay fever. So I have massive congestion going on through my sinuses. But Sarah is way worse off because she's not only is she congested, but she's all swollen. Her throat is just wrecked from all of that. And so, yeah, she's miserable and she is laying down and the baby is asleep as well. So, yeah. Then we've got, of course, The Hunger Games. And why do I have 4 books in this? Oh, yeah. Anybody else? And I'm going to ask this because I read it and I was just, it's one of those books where you read it and you just go, am I really going to finish reading this? How did he do it? Oh, he loved it. Loved it. He had a moment where he, like the 2 trucks came out to race side by side. And I think it was the first 2 racers that came out, and it was, what is her name? Scarlet Bandit and Sharkbite came out to do their side-by-side. They got started. They hit that first jump. He grabbed his like headset. Like we had ear defenders on him. And he grabbed it and pulled it off his head. And as he did that, they hit that jump. And of course, the engines go really loud. And he went and like really got upset and like reached for one of us. And I was like, very fast, like grabbed his headset and put it back on him. And he went like this and held it there. And after that, he didn't touch his headset the rest of the show. I think he realized in that moment when that came off, he did not like the sound that he heard. Because you can feel like, I mean, it was already loud with the headset on. Like I had ear defenders, very loud, even with the headset on. You took that headset off and oh my gosh. It was because where we live, if I could show you guys, I would. But where we live, actually, I can show you guys a little clip that I do have. And this was when they had like in between each of the races, they had the big the BMX bikes out there, the really awesome BMX bikes. And so this is how close we are to the field. So I will show you guys. Hold on. Stop thing. It's not going to let me do it. Okay, here we go. So this is us. This is how close we are to the field. So that's the BMXers going right over the thing. That's how close we are to the field. So we're right there. Like, I think it's 7 seats up, right? So 7 bleacher sets up. So we were at the top of the bleachers. So that way the big stroller, because we had his big jogger, wasn't blocking anybody or any of the walkways. So we go all the way up at the very, very top. And then they have like that flat platform spot in between where the 2 rows go off to the side. So we got all the way to the very top and then stayed right there at the very, very top. One, we could look over the entire field. And that's how close we are to the field, as you can see. He loved it. Like, those are his favorite things. Monster trucks are his favorite things. The next time around, now that we really saw like how he responded to them, when they come back out, which they'll be back out again in a couple months, we'll do another set of tickets. And then this next time I will go ahead and get the extra ticket to allow him VIP. So he can go back there and get to see the trucks up close, touch the trucks, like get a chance to like, say hi to the drivers and stuff like that. Because he absolutely loved every bit of it. Like, I have a video clip of him when Sharkbite got to go back out. Put it this way, Sharkbite won pretty much the entire thing. Like, he won the championship. It was really freaking awesome. But Sharkbite came out, did his thing, and then Hot Tamale came out, and then I forgot his name. The other one that came out, which all of us were rooting for, the Hunter. He came out, and then his truck did something weird midway in the air. You heard the truck kind of have this weird noise happen. And when it came back down, it just wouldn't roll forward. So they had to get him off of the field. So because his truck, and he won the race, but because his truck wouldn't restart, him and Sharkbite couldn't go back out for like the next round. So for that next round, everybody decided like we were going to let Sharkbite come back out. Well, Sharkbite, the driver of Sharkbite, handed over the reins of his truck to the Hunter and told the Hunter to get out there and show us a good time. So it ended up not being the driver of Sharkbite driving Sharkbite for that last hoorah. It was actually the driver of Hunter out there giving us a show and doing his freestyle that he would have done in his truck had his truck, got up and going again. So it was really, really cool. We got that on video, that last run of Sharkbite out there, and everybody just flipping out because it was just the most epic run. I mean, he literally went outside the ring and came back and like jumped back into the ring over the outside wall. It was amazing seeing this monster truck go flying over that wall and into the arena again. It was so cool. And I pan over to see Bubby as the truck is doing its thing. And he is just losing his little noodle. He is cheering and he's pointing like, Grandma, look, look, look. And filming the truck as it's coming over the wall and then coming back and seeing Carlisle's his little face as it's coming back over the wall. It's literally like one of the best like moments I'm going to treasure. For the most part, we didn't film other than that last run. I decided to film that last run of the truck so that I can film Bubby and his reaction to like that last truck being on the field, because we'd already seen Sharkbite go the first time, and because Hunter wasn't going to be out there, we decided to film him seeing Sharkbite go again, since I got to just enjoy that first run through with him. It was just amazing to do that, and then to catch his genuine reaction to these trucks and how he feels about monster trucks. So, which was really, really cool. So yeah. Sarah's like, Mom, I'm alive, I promise. Oh, my poor girl. Oh, this poor baby. I know, she's just feeling so miserable. Did somebody finally answer? Did somebody answer? No. Dude. Dang it. Most people out here aren't in bed yet. Like, it's only 8 o'clock. Come on, guys. Oh, it's not 8 o'clock. It's almost 10 o'clock. Wow, phone open. Yeah. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours, guys. But yeah, so streaming for almost 3 hours. I'm over here like nibbling on shrimp. My hair has been super like you guys can see these waves. I haven't done anything to really encourage them today. I didn't do anything with them. Ooh. Sarah said, heyo. No thing. Come on, open. So I've been sitting here nibbling on shrimp because, you know, I don't have the best stomach right now. It's been giving me attitude recently. One, I think I'm having a mild flare-up. And 2, I think I have an ulcer. So anytime and every time I've been trying to eat or drink anything, I keep getting what I call bubble belly, which is where I feel like I just have a big wad of just air trapped in my stomach. So anytime I take like a bite of food or whatnot, I feel like within moments I get this tight, bubbly sensation against my diaphragm. And I feel like, oh, I can't breathe. My stomach feels like I just ate 7 meals. And it gets like this tight, bloated like feeling. And so I can only take like a couple bites. And then I gotta wait. And let it like chill out for a few minutes. Anywho, well, she's awake. So I might go downstairs with her for a few minutes before I go to bed, because it's almost 10 o'clock, so I need to get ready for bed. I try to get to bed right around 11 o'clock each night, because I'm usually the one that gets up with the baby in the morning, and we do like our 2 hours of learning time, education time. Because when it comes time for schooling, I'm probably going to be the one that's going to do a lot of his school time with him, like, so being kind of his teacher, so to speak, so whatnot. But yeah, but I did trim my hair up the other day. It's still longer than I want it to be, but it's allowed a lot of my just like my natural like waves and stuff to just show up. But and then I do have it kind of in a a dragon braid going on today. I did like a partial dragon braid, but I couldn't get the rest of it because the layers are a bit shorter. So, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go down and see my daughter for a few minutes, and then I need to actually sit down and do some more reading for tonight so that I can keep on my streak. I only got one more day of this month, and I want to finish that book. If I finish this other book, that'll be 7 books for this month. So, which still isn't enough to reach my goal of 110 books. So yeah, I needed more books to reach 110. Right now, at this rate, I'm going to get 77 books for the year. I'm not okay with that. Same. Now, normally, Jesse, I eat the easy peel shrimp, right? So it still has all the shells and everything on it. But I decided to be lazy tonight, and I just got the jumbos. Or these are the colossals. I got the colossal shrimp tonight. I did buy a big bag of the jumbo easy peels. So she's actually downstairs. I'm upstairs in my room. So with my Harry Potter collection and whatnot. So I'm still doing that. And by the way, guys, I have not started this yet. I still need to work on this. I have not started it yet. So that is a must do. But I need to get the rest of this stuff finished in here. And then I need to find a bed frame. So that way there's a bed frame in here when Jay comes, because he will be here on Friday. So that's a thing. But anyway, guys, you guys have a great night. I'm going to get off here, go hang out with my baby for a few minutes. And we'll see you guys later.